Expression x to the 9th minus 3 squared. Come in. Hi, Mom.
Hi. Still working so late? On Friday night?
This is my last algebra problem. I'm going to save my history until tomorrow.
Sarah, your father and I appreciate the fact that you take your schoolwork seriously. But, well, couldn't you manage to arrange your time so you could have a little fun, too?
I have a certain amount of homework to do, and I like to get it done on time.
But you have the whole weekend. You could go out on Friday night or have somebody in.
Like them? Is that what you mean?
Having a good time is all I mean. And that's why I talked to Ron's mother the other day.
You didn't? Well, I suppose you fixed it so he'd have to invite me over.
I might have, if it had been necessary. But I found out that those Friday night get-togethers are open houses. You could go.
I know I could if I wanted to. I don't.
I think you should go. You're only young once.
Mother, don't be so corny. There's nobody over there I want to see. I think I better finish my algebra.
Of course, dear. We'll talk about this some other time.
I go back to the full pencil. All right, so glad to have you.
Okay, Ron, thanks. Take it easy.
Your friends are certainly a nice bunch, Ron.
Yeah, they're the greatest.
Do you suppose they'd like to help you do something really nice?
What do you mean, Mom?
Well, how about being more friendly to Sarah Inman?
Sarah Inman? Oh, Mom.
No, really, dear, I mean it. Now, you could invite Sarah over here next Friday to join us.
Ask Sarah to come over here? Well, gee whiz, why?
Oh, don't you want her to come?
No, I don't particularly want her. Sarah Inman.
Now, Ron, you know we've always said that all of your friends are welcome here at any time.
Well, I know, Mom, but, well, the idea just kind of grew. We've got a large game room, well-stocked refrigerator, and lots of good records. So the gang started drifting in here on Friday. Nobody needed to be asked, but Sarah never came. She's too high-hat for that. She wants a special invitation, and if she gets it, it'll be just one more reason for her to think she's better than anybody else.
Now, look here, Ron. Years ago, when you had rheumatic fever, don't you remember who it was who came over here every day and read to you by the hour?
Well, sure, Mom, but she's changed since then.
Oh, no, Ron, I don't think she's really changed. Why don't you give her a chance?
Well, she was good to me once. I guess I can ask her to honor us with her presence. I'll call her tomorrow.
Thanks, son. You know, growing up brings different problems to different people. And some, well, they just don't quite bring it off without falling down somewhere.
Well, if you ask me, where Sarah fell down was when she went into junior high. When she was in grade school, she was swell. She made good grades and had lots of friends. But when she started going to junior high with lots of other sharp kids, well, she couldn't be a big wheel. Now she's in senior high and,
Oh, it's too bad. It seems, well, you know, it sounds like she needs a friend.
You're nominating me? I don't know. She may cut me dead. She does lots of other people. And I don't think she cares at all.
Her Highness has a new sweater.
Ooh, it's luscious. You've got to hand it to Sarah. She certainly has good taste.
The way she acts, you'd think nobody else did.
She'll hear you. That's an awfully pretty sweater, Sarah.
Well, don't speak. Were you talking to me? Never mind. Hear nobody, see nobody, talk to nobody. That's Sarah. No wonder she had any friends. Hey, and Matson made secretary.
Yeah, Jerry made vice president.
President Bill Tyler. That's great.
Hey, Bill made president. Jerry made vice president and Matson made secretary.
What's all the excitement?
Oh, we're full for the election for next year's student council officer. Bill Tyler made president. Hey, let's go.
Okay.
I'll see.
I suppose you don't think Bill's the best man for the job?
Oh, that girl.
She's just sore because we picked Bill's design for the yearbook cover instead of hers. Let's go to class.
I know you shoot us all out of the kitchen, but I don't mind drying dishes. Besides, I wanted to talk to you, Pumpkin.
You did?
You were so quiet during dinner. Something's bothering you. Care to cry on my shoulder?
Daddy, there's nothing to cry about.
Not one little thing?
There are lots of little things we could talk about. But it wouldn't do any good.
I'm waiting.
Oh, all right. You'll think I'm silly. Well, this morning, when I came to class, I was worried about the history test first period. I was going over it in my mind, and somebody spoke to me, Nancy Yeager. I didn't hear what she said, but she looked at me as if she just hated me. I worked hard on the history test, but I flubbed it. I know there are lots of people in there that don't study half as hard as I do, and they come off with the A's. I'm smarter than they are. I know I am. Last week, I worked just hours and hours on a design for the yearbook cover. Bill Tyler handed in just a blotchy sketch. I couldn't see anything to it. But his design is going to be on the yearbook cover. It isn't fair. This afternoon, Ron from next door called and invited me over Friday night. I had to say yes because Mother's been pressuring me, but I don't want to go. Bill Tyler will be there, and I don't like him. President of Student Council. All the kids that get by on apple polishing will be there, too, and I don't like them.
Pumpkin. I'm sorry you don't like so many people. Friends are important in this world. You should encourage others to make good and not dislike them for it. I think maybe your mother's right. I think you should go to Ron's get-together this Friday. Try to like people for whatever they are.
That's all the dishes. I can clean out the sink.
Okay, Pumpkin. Just one more question. All these people you don't like, aren't they happier than you are? Aren't they happier than you are? Aren't they happier than you are?
For you. First choice goes to our new president.
Look at them, playing up to it. Bill Tyler, big man. Everything he does is too clever. Makes me sick. I'm just as good as he is. No, I'm better. He'll get no playing up from me.
Boy, I didn't know which was going to wear out first, me or the music.
Are you going to go next, huh?
Why, going around show again?
Hey, how about it? You want to dance?
I'd rather not.
Well, you want to sit and talk then?
I'd rather not. Not with you.
Well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you mad.
Oh, are you satisfied?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You really froze him out, didn't you?
I don't know what business it is of yours if I don't want to dance.
Well, I think you did want to dance. You wanted to dance, all right, but you just couldn't pass up the chance to be a snob. What's the matter? Sarah? Sarah, come back.
I can't.
Why not? What's the matter? Can I do anything?
Oh, God. They're so mean and hateful.
Oh my God.
They don't understand anybody who is one of their gang and doesn't do all the silly things they do.
Oh my God.
They don't understand.
Mean it? Isn't there something like the snob?
She feels remorseful.
Herself, her parents, her friends.
That look she gave out. You're a snob. It's just like dun dun dun.
Makes Sarah act the way she does.
Jeez, I love these.
Is it a cover-up for some lack she feels in herself?
No.
Can a friend like Ron help her in any way?
Maybe they're incels and she doesn't like them.
Is the group justified in judging everything Sarah does as
She's just
snobbery?
upset because the police contacted her about her behavior
What do
online.
you think?
Oh my God.
That's the moral of the story, isn't it? I don't know. I just wondered.
She's upset about her. All right. So we're going to watch this video that Checkers put out, 62 IQ, as we like to call her, the trash goblin, as she calls herself. I kind of skimmed through it. I don't know what we're in for. I'm sure it's stupid. but
Yeah, it probably will be. It usually is, right?
Right. Yeah,
I don't know.
Who knows?
Maybe she finally has something to say. We'll see. I hope so. I think she can actually change.
You think she can change?
Yeah. I think
Will she change too? A gnome? Can she graduate to a gnome?
A more authentic, fake version of herself, I think. Yeah.
Or an authentic, fake version of herself.
Yeah.
Could she move from chaotic, what does she call herself? Chaotic neutral, which I don't believe she's even a neutral. Chaotic neutral to like chaotic good? And you think that's possible?
That's me. I'm chaotic good.
Yeah, I don't think she can rise to chaotic good. I don't think so.
Nope.
No.
I don't think she can. We can root for her, though. We can root for her to try to be better.
Yep. So thank you for joining the watch party here. Special thank you to Christina Rain, Big Zebra, Hillary. Good to see you guys. Nana, good to see you. Had some funny comments there, Nana.
Frank was here. Wow.
Frank, crude as fuck. Check out his channel. And all you have to do is change that logo so that's on the boobs and not below the shelf, Frank. And I might buy a shirt, just so you know. So, This video is actually last Friday when it came out. Is that? I think so. The date is the 2nd. So I guess that would be last Friday. We have lives, so we're a little bit behind, I guess.
Okay, Shadow Tig and Lucifer.
Shadow Tig.
Yeah, I think she just put this up tonight, right? Was it today or earlier? Well, I don't know. Maybe yesterday.
No, there was one that looks boring. I might address that at some point. She's fighting with Theo on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
But I scrolled to that one, and the only thing that's funny in that is Theo. so.
All right. Cut to it.
Yeah. So.
It's the girl power hour.
Okay, crude as fuck's gonna fix the boob line on his shirt. Yep. On the shelf, not below the shelf. You gotta show out the merch. Yep. Got it.
Oh yeah. Then I'd buy the shirt for sure.
Yep.
Even though I only have one boob, so I still.
Yep.
I'd still do it.
Not below the shelf. Yep. Cool. All right. So let me make sure I'm sharing what I need to be sharing. Oops. I just clicked the thing. I'm really professional, guys.
Don't you have, Frank? You must have somebody with boobs that can buy that and then model it for you.
Amarose bought it, but it's below the shelf, so we gave the feedback.
Oh yeah, Amarose is your go-to right there. That's right. A perfect test.
Cause she ain't sagging or anything like that. She's got some nice boobs, and I thought, and so the review is raise it. So. Yep. All right, so we're gonna play Demfic Friday, but it's last Friday, not this Friday. So here we go.
We're a week behind. We're slow.
Yeah, and I'm hearing an echo, and it's driving me a little bit wild. Let me just double check a couple things real fast. Where am I hearing this echo?
Is it my microphone?
I don't know. Is it?
I don't know. It shouldn't be. I don't have my voice analyzer on it.
Let me see. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Yeah, it's just in the background. It's okay. I'll be fine.
Your voice sounds good to me.
Okay.
Like a goddess of sorts. Yeah.
Oh, don't go that far. It's terrifying.
Okay.
Oh, yesterday I had the grand experience of going into Will Kincaid's room, and partially because Godless Girl was attacking Marble Mouth, and I kind of felt bad, and I don't know. I just know that Marble Mouth doesn't fight back really. And then she made me get on camera, and I said no, but then Vaughn wanted me to get on camera, and I don't understand why, but whatever. He thinks that like trolls are afraid to get on camera or something. I don't know. So I got on camera, and I flipped Godless off, and then she just yelled and screamed, and nobody cared. And then Brett Keane was like, "You didn't say something very nice to me on Raging Atheist channel." And I said, "What was that?" And he said, "You pointed out that I'm endorsing Channy for Christ. That seemed pretty hateful." I said, "Yeah, I think it's pretty fucking hateful that you're endorsing Channy for Christ." And then I laid into him a little bit. And he's like, "I need to see evidence." And then we just pointed to evidence. He's like, "I'm going to see more evidence." You know how he does.
Yeah.
So that was weird. And then JD King came in, and everything was on fire between him and G-Man. It was insane. So that was lovely.
Somebody told me they've seen me on a stream with the Raging Atheist before. I don't even remember it, if I did it.
I don't think I've ever seen you with him.
Yeah, same here. Maybe I'm thinking, yeah. Anyway, I'll have to ask April what she meant by that. But anyway, does Godless Girl deserve water? That's the question.
You don't fucking deserve water. Get out of Subway.
She doesn't deserve water. That's how bad she is.
Yep. Have you ever been kicked out of Subway? I'm just saying. Are you bad enough that you've been removed from Subway? Ask that question to yourself.
From a Subway.
Yeah.
That's funny.
High class restaurant there. All right. I'm going to hit play. We're going to watch Demfic Friday. She's so clever with her swear words that are really swear words. Anyway. She's like 2. Your stupid fireplace that's not even moving. You're supposed to be a graphic artist. Why isn't your fire moving? Gosh, you drive me nuts. At least make the fire move.
On everybody.
Right.
I'm having.
Okay, so she's linked her definition here of race baiting, the act of intentionally encouraging racism and anger about issues relating to race, often to get a political advantage. I'm sure this is going to start out great.
And remember, I think race baiting is actually a crime. I'm not sure.
Is it? I don't know. Usually it just means white people are disgruntled because some black guy called them out.
That's what I think. She should look up her definitions here. It's not race baiting you're looking for. It's called PWNED. You'd been pwned by a black man. Oh well.
Darn. Ouch. Must hurt.
Having a I'm not surprised day, I'm just disappointed day. You know what I mean?
I'm so disappointed.
I was reading the responses to Alex O'Connor tweeting about how he simply acknowledged that there's a definition for atheism in philosophy, and I guess he's getting a kind of pooped on for it a little bit. And I can't say I'm surprised, but I am disappointed. It's just a perpetual state of disappointment.
Oh, this whole thing about the definition of atheism,
fun. So,
it is just such a trial and tribulation.
Friday.
Poor little old me. I just don't know what to do with myself. Yeah.
Dude, like, it's like you have no idea what it's like to martyr yourself on Twitter and crucify yourself to the masses dying on this hill. You have no idea how much pain it is.
I can feel for her. I really can. It must be so troublesome and so, I don't know. We'll just breathe heavily. Deep sigh. The definition of atheism. Guys.
And that's what I'm calling it. For anybody who's aware, I am not intending on making this a weekly show because I do not wish to subject myself to this level of dumb during the week to try and select the dumbest of the dumb Friday stuff. So this is probably just a segment that's going to happen when something just excessively dumb happens that just comes across my way that I'm just like, I need to talk about this. However, I'm going to prime you guys because I don't like to front or be sneaky about giving you guys some information to sort of set you up to notice the thing I've explained to you. So I'm going to prime you guys a little bit, and I'm going to explain to you real quick what race baiting is.
Because you're too fucking stupid to know, so I'm going to explain it.
Sending that on Twitter is top tier. I did add a noise gate, so...
Hello, folks. We're going to use really common terms that everybody uses and everybody defines, but we're going to use it again, and I'm going to explain to you and teach you how I use it, and I'm probably going to be dumb about it.
Please let me know if that's a little bit better. One of the reasons why my fan for my computer was so loud because it was so hot here, I actually had to open my computer.
Oh, man, I'm sure it's super hot
again,
on
so
America's Hat.
Be as loud, and hopefully the noise gate will do it. I just have to remember to turn the noise gate on and off because, I mean, if I'm live, it should be fine, but if I go live with Steve, I guess there's like a big giant click that happens. Helios for 2, just say it's my birthday gift as an excuse. Oh, it's your birthday. That's right, it's Helios's birthday. Happy birthday to Helios. Everybody give Helios happy birthday wishes. Now, I guess on to the dumb. Hooray.
Hooray. Ew, I heard her swallow.
Ew, gross.
Intentionally encouraging racism or anger about issues relating to race, often to gain a political advantage. So, that doesn't mean it only is political advantage.
Oh, thank you for explaining that. Oh,
advantages.
I wouldn't have known.
Encouraging racism or anger about issues relating to race. That's what race baiting is. It's basically when somebody takes issue with something you're doing and they say, oh, it's because I'm this race. Oh, it's because I'm a woman. Oh, it's because race baiting. Now, there can be times where you're legitimately like, I think this person is just behaving this way because I'm a woman or because of my race. Sure. This is when you're intentionally encouraging either racism or anger about issues relating to racism when there was no correlation in the first place. Is this another caffeine corner? Maybe.
She's just totally disoriented all around, isn't she?
Caffeine corner minus the
Also, keep this definition of race baiting in mind, because I guarantee you that it's going to come up later and they are going to be the ones engaging in it. But that's just my prediction.
Now that you guys are familiar with what race baiting is, and I'm sure most of you already know, let's take a look. So I'm going to read this all out, and then I'm going to start touching on point by point. Nate the lawyer, because of course. Cult claims about me. 1, not a lawyer because I'm black. 2, physically harmed a woman I never met. 3, worse than a serial rapist. 4, defrauded a court. 5, gave legal advice to a guy doing my artwork. This is what happens when you bust their online fraud ring. There's a lot to unpack here, which is basically why we're doing this, because this is some dumb shit.
Yeah, why don't we start with the fraud? Let's unpack that fraud. I really want to talk about that.
Yeah, let's unpack the fraud. Again.
Yeah.
Again.
Let's talk about that.
This is basically a whole lot of shit that never happened, Alex, for 500.
They actually do make a lot of claims about him not being a lawyer. So if you look at Nate's tweet, one of the claims is like he's kind of like, going through the nonsense that they constantly say to him. One of them is cult claims about me, not a lawyer because I'm black. I have to tell you that might just in fact be legitimate. Like they constantly say he's not a real lawyer, even though he's been a DA, even though it's provable, even though people can verify it. They constantly say this shit all the time, and they let people say that. Why is that a thing? Like, like it's, they're like, nah, it's not because of that, but I don't know. It might be a factor.
I think this is a giant act, all putting on this. But she's been doing Friday Facts twice in a row now, so let's see if it continues. Yep. I think she's just putting on a big act. Yep. She still thinks that it's 2 years ago, and Nate doesn't even have 1,000 subscribers or any time in the day to make videos, become a YouTuber. Yeah. I think he's over 80K now. So he just zoomed up, and I think that they still think that he's, somebody they can stomp on and crush into cockroach dust or something. However Steve McRae put that. So, but she's surely wrong about this. So, anyway.
I'll give you guys a second to let your brain settle in.
Yeah, okay.
Can you guys wrap your head around this, guys? Can ya? I'm gonna really belittle my audience constantly.
I mean, like Nate just laid out 5 facts, and she's just like, "Oh, this is so dumb."
Dapper makes a good point. Where to even start? Probably at the bottom. Because this is very specific and yet very vague, this whole tweet. It's designed that way, that like that's on purpose. So this is what happens when you bust their online fraud ring. So this indicates who he's talking about, because at the top he's very vague about who he's talking about.
Thank you for explaining that.
The fourth last word that he says and indicates who he's actually referring to. He's referring to me, Red's Rhetoric, 82, Steve, all of us. That's who it's about. Of course, he's non-specific and doesn't say who he's talking about to the very end. Because that's what they've been saying about a lot of us, because we got taken advantage of by Sean Hufford and Ilya Moon. Now, The people
Violence
who
is not the way, Han.
rectified those issues of Sean and Ilya. It's because I agree that there was bullshit going on there. But the people who did the work to rectify and resolve those issues was Red's rhetoric and us.
Incorrect.
Red did a lot of the footwork.
Madam.
All right, and pause. So Unirock does mention she names all the fraudsters. Thank you for naming them all. it gives us the ability to not have to go through that work. We appreciate that, Josh.
We told you these were the people to keep an eye on. These are the people who are behind all this bullshit that they've been doing to people. She just named most of them. So thank you, Cheese. Thanks for that. I guess you realize that you can't cover that up anymore. But yeah, Red's rhetoric didn't do any work. None. He did zero work. All he did was say, if any of you think Ilya Moon is faking cancer, how dare you? That's sick. That's sick. Fuck you. That sort of thing. Oops, I'm sorry about the language.
No,
but
you
yeah.
can swear. I don't care.
Yeah, he just squealed a little bit until he was forced to make Ilya go to her dentist office, stand in front of the sign, and put a thumb up so that you could see her thumb in the photo that she took. Then he and Jared,
evidence. We all know her thumb.
This is literally what he describes. This was their plan. They were going to take the picture of Ilya Moon's thumb showing her dentist's office and then somehow use that to provide backup to the documents that he had in front of him, that he should have had in front of him before he ran the damn fundraiser, that everybody could see was fake and nobody could talk about it, because if you did talk about it, you would have a swarm of little flying monkeys on your ass. That's why nobody said anything. And the people who were saying something about it, even behind the scenes, they were getting intimidated. So you are a lying piece of shit, Cheese. I'm just calling you out on that right now. He didn't do any work. He didn't. He fought it the whole way.
Yeah, he did. He did it.
And we have evidence. And so he can just talk to the police about that. Go contact the Knoxville police if they haven't found you yet. Reds. Fuckers. These guys think they're fooling somebody.
If you don't know Red's pattern by now, Red's always finds a useful idiot or a bulldog or somebody to use. And in this case, the useful idiot was Fight the Flat Earth. And he line flat the Flat Earth and really set Fight the Flat Earth up for failure. As this, well, this guy's going to stand by my integrity. And he's going to overview to make sure it's all on the up and up. And just the setup that poor Fight the Flat Earth was like a patsy in this in a way, because he was set up to fail in this thing by Red Rhetoric. You have to understand that Red Rhetoric has done this in the past to other people. Hey, Demi, you should make a video. Hey, so-and-so, you should make a video. Like constantly setting people up for failure with his lies and manipulation. This is not a pattern that's new. This is a pattern that's happened for how many years now? At least 3 I've noticed.
Or how about this one? Hey, internet mommy, can you just put out a message to what do you think about this message? I'm going to post this to everybody going to the funeral. I am going to be acting like a complete asshole, so please forgive me and be nice to me the whole time. Something like that. And then the internet mommy of Red's Rhetoric says, no, I don't think that's a good idea. Yeah. And that he was setting her up. He needs her permission. And then he blamed her for his behavior afterwards. He literally blamed a woman that had nothing to do with his behavior for his poor behavior for a year. Yeah, we know how you work, Reds.
Yep. So what's funny about that is he's he likes to make other people responsible for his shit constantly. That is really the best way to put it down in a small sentence. So I can't control my behavior with G-Man in New York, so other people have to control my behavior with G-Man and drag me aside because I can't emotionally regulate in any way because I have never bothered to actually take control of myself. Same thing in San Francisco. I can't emotionally regulate myself. I can't act like a normal human being like everybody else. So therefore, I need somebody to be responsible, and I'm going to set that person up for failure and make it as hard as possible for that person to be successful in the thing that I set them up for. And you know who's behind the scenes in all of this is A2 Productions. He's an asshole.
A2 Pro Dachshund.
Yeah, that dude is an enabler of some of the worst behavior, and he sounds rational until you actually watch what he does.
He has a homicidal voice.
Yeah, he's a bit creepy. He makes a lot of veiled threats, and my answer to him is you fucking try something. I'll just take Reds down. I don't fucking care.
Props to him for figuring all that out, especially when they're the people that were involved were people he considered his friends. And that's not an easy thing to do. So...
I'm sorry.
Is it the gulp? Gulp!
It's not an easy thing to do.
Individual situation.
So, hold on. Whenever she speaks with that staccato, that means she's super serious. Individuals.
Yeah, she does have that staccato thing going on. I don't know why.
She picked it up from Reds and AT2. She's been hanging out with these assholes for too long. Can you guys hear me? My little microphone doesn't seem to be working.
I hear you well. In chat, do you hear XXiled well?
One, if you can hear me.
One, if you can hear XXiled.
I think if they couldn't hear me, somebody would have said something. They wouldn't just let me go on like that, would they?
I don't know. Well, usually they scream at me. I'm muted, and that happens a lot to me.
Okay, all right. They can hear me fine. All right, cool. Because, you don't want to miss the words of wisdom. All right. Thanks, guys.
Only two that were operating in two separate situations. One wasn't fraud. One was fraud.
So point of contention. She's saying one fraud raiser was not a fraud and one fraud raiser was a fraud. So the one that got him, that one is the Ilya Moon one. I faked cancer. And then she just breaks down and cries and crumples as Nate just does it interviewed. Nate does what he does and just interviews him, and she just breaks. I'm your friend, have a donut, and I didn't mean to fake cancer. Don't send the police. Kind of nonsense. Waterworks happens. Now Sean, on the other hand, Sean just ran off. Now, I want to point out something. I don't know if you've ever noticed. I'm sure a lot of you have. Guess who said, Sean? Oh, get away from me, Sean. Reds, there's a big show of that. But guess who's still Twitter friends and friends with Sean on social media and still talking with Sean?
Yeah, they're still friends with Ilya, too. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. This is all for sure. Show. It's not real. It's for show.
Oh, Misha, that's a brilliant comment. I love it. Trying to be uselessly vague is uselessly vague. I love it.
Oh my god.
Fraud. We've been over this before, though. So he's claiming that he's put in work to bust some kind of online fraud ring. Never happened.
Yes.
He's saying he's being treated poorly.
Self-torture, like Mystery Science Theater.
That thing.
Words that will come back to haunt her. Literally, they will come back.
That's where we're going to start. So... what are the claims? 5. He forgot a period after 5.
Like you forgot your question mark?
Why is not capitalized after the 1? And P not capitalized after the 2, but the W, D, and G are capitalized.
Okay, we need something that we can play over this when she starts doing this shit.
That's not how commas work. You don't put commas at the end of a list.
You want a song? I don't have one. I don't have one ready.
Like you could play nails scratching down the chalkboard.
Oh gosh,
and it would be fine. Retcon. She actually mentions retcon at the end, Fiona.
It's grammar on Twitter. It's not serious. It's a goof. I'm just goofing. I mean, most of this is just me goofing, because who cares? Look at
Mitchell. Wakacha.
None of us care. We're not the ones being investigated.
5. Gave legal advice to a guy doing my artwork. He started referring to Kyle. So
You're
first off,
getting sued.
apparently, didn't know this. Kyle was doing Nate's artwork.
So you must happen to know that there's a lot of people that do a lot of people's artwork. Did you know Hannibal and Maranti have been doing artwork as well as other sources?
Ooh, nice.
Oh my gosh. This happens in communities. Artists share things. Except for you. Nobody wants your work.
Knowing everything that Kyle had done and was currently doing, Nate decided to get him to do artwork because I guess he thought that was a good association for him to make.
Oh, nobody can be friends with Kyle. Nobody can even talk to him because we're suing him. That means if you talk to Kyle, you're a bad person. Your logic, your self-awareness, cheese, you don't have any. I'm sorry. Just because you hate somebody doesn't make them a person that can't be become friends with others. Yeah.
Y'all know the last video I reviewed. They started calling out Paula Logia, Shannon Q, all these people that had maybe guested on NSS after Steve kind of got the boots in slow motion.
Yeah.
And they were calling people out, and now he's fixated on Jimmy because Jimmy's got some other drama, so he's trying to ride the wave of drama and be like, me too. Just pathetically hanging on to that wave.
Oh, he is so desperate. He's so desperate. And so is she. And, I follow Kyle's SoundCloud because he makes nice music. It's nice and chill, and it's beautiful music to me. I like listening to it. There's about 6 tracks at least that I love that Kyle made, or else maybe he pretended to make. I don't even care. I just like the tracks, so I follow him. You're actually allowed to do that. There's nothing illegal. They're going to try to take this premise that she's laying down right here and turn it into, ooh, there might be something criminal going on. You watch.
Yep. It's
legal advice. So he's saying that these are claims. So to be clear, we know for a fact that Nate was helping Kyle. Nate said as much. This isn't a bizarre, because he's...
Correct me if I'm wrong, but all I remember Nate ever saying is, Kyle, you need to get a lawyer.
Yeah, there was a whole group of people in a chat and Discord with Kyle giving him advice, all kinds of advice. Hey, Steve was one of the advice they gave it to him,
Hey, Steve, that was on the table. Hey, Steve, just get over with this. Let's just get on with your life. You can do better than these people. Whatever.
Yeah, I hope he sues her for defamation if she does. I mean, seriously, this is deliberate. They've got so little after these fraud raisers, these people like Sean and Ilya that they've been touting as good, honorable people who turn out to be nothing but complete frauds. And we did all the work in busting them. Man, that's hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious. So
this is the misrepresentation. They want to catch what they really are hoping for, because you may have seen the tweets, and what they're really hoping for, and idiot Steve tweeted out, said, you think I want this dead channel? I've given up and written off this dead channel long ago. What I wanted for was that Kyle go to jail. This is all their weird petty revenge. And what's funny is they are just hoping that somehow they can wrap Nate into their petty revenge. It's just pathetic.
Like I said, they have no awareness. They think that it's just a couple of people criticizing them 2 years ago. No, a lot of people have seen their shit now. Everybody in their community has said, stay the fuck out of our streams. We don't want anything to do with you. You're doxers. You're harassers. You interfere in other people's real lives. You call CPS on people. You run, troll ops and that sort of shit. No, we don't want anything to do with you. Get the fuck out. This is where they are. This is what these people are right now. And she's acting as if it's 2 years ago. And, you know, she's going to get the NSS, and she's going to be co-host of the Non Sequitur show one day. Because I'm such a devious person that I'm going to steal the Non Sequitur show, yeah. Something like that.
Did you just do a sinister laugh and staccato? Ding ding walla walla bang bang.
Here, I'm going to say it again so CJ gets freaked out because she's high. CJ.
We all need to be high for this. Good idea.
Presenting these claims, he's presenting this list of things as if they're absurd. It's something that we talked about. I think we talked about it on Caffeine Corner. Actually, we talked about when Kyle was lying by saying, "Oh yeah, no, of course I want to go back to jail. Oh yeah, no, of course I frauded this stuff." That's what he's doing. He's being obvious about the shit that he did to make it sound like it. Well, of course, yeah, I definitely helped out Kyle. Yeah, no, definitely. But he did. That's the thing he did? This is gaslighting.
Wait.
She's an idiot.
That's not what gaslighting is.
That's not what gaslighting is, dumb shit. Yeah. It's race baiting. So far, you're not too good on definitions. No wonder you have problem convincing people about the definition of atheism. Like, yeah, that's because you're so bad at that. All right.
So, comment in the chat. Chess Logic David, or Earl David Warden, convicted R word. Good. Kyle equals bad. Yep, and she's even going so far as saying, Earl Warden treated me nice. And was it Theo recently was fighting with her in chat. She's like, but Theo, bad. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with your brain? And it just shows what a selfish cunt she is. I'm sorry, but like you should care about other people, not just yourself. So and so was nice to me. Oh, like that matters.
Yeah.
No. Gave legal advice. So there's some technical terminology there. So you could either be saying gave him legal advice as in
get a lawyer.
What Nate as a lawyer in New York is not allowed to do via the Bar Association because Kyle's in North Carolina. Or you could say that, oh, well, he was just a friend giving some legal advice, obviously not officially. We all know that Nate helped Kyle. Nate said he helped Kyle. He gave him advice.
Get a lawyer. I don't practice in your state. Find yourself a lawyer in your state.
Yeah. Yeah, this is how desperate. Look at her. Look at her.
Look at her claw. It's funny because some of us know what actually happened, but watching her, it's fucking stupid.
Well, some of us know what she had for lunch. That's the thing. Yeah. You could just tell just when she opens her mouth, we know exactly what the fuck is going on in reality, not what she's putting out.
Y'all, if you want to learn how to like fry bread, she's your girl.
About legalities. This is all well-known information. None of this is like a surprise. So, yeah. Now,
yo. That's how she talks, Christina. Yo.
Against the bar.
So I have to like say something like her ... is not fucking commentary enough. Like it just drives me nuts. She's like fill in the dots, but then she'll treat you like you're an idiot. She'll take you over and go, this is the definition of race baiting because you're too fucking dumb to know, audience. And then she's like, fill in the blank. Like,
yeah.
What are we doing?
Are the people in her audience 5? I hope not. I hope not.
Yeah, she might have like a 12-year-old incel following. We're not sure.
Do 12-year-olds know what race baiting is? I think they probably can hear the word race baiting and know probably what in general it is, but she's explaining this too.
Yeah. Well, let's get real too. Race baiting
Big brains.
Race baiting in America typically is well, in my opinion, is usually like a dog whistle. Like when you say that word, it means something. But she hasn't even talked about the dog whistle part of that. But that's really funny.
because he gave him legal advice as a instead of as a friend, as a lawyer. Two different things, completely separate things, and he's poisoning the well and putting out basically tear gas to be like, well, obfuscate this issue, make it confusing about what the specific conclusions people have come to. Right?
Evidence required, bitch. Evidence required.
Don't think anybody said that.
Did anybody say citation needed?
Kyle, and Kyle defrauded the court. How involved Nate is, we don't know.
But that's your fucking inference. ... Right? ...
How involved is Nate?
Oh my gosh.
Some people just never learn, I swear to God.
I just want you to know that our moderators will allow people of differing beliefs and ideas to push back in the chat. And nobody's going to block you unless you're grossly abusive and grossly, abusing the TOS. So if you think otherwise, you're not auto bans here. We don't move like Steve. We don't need to create a bubble in a cult. So if you think differently, you might get pushback within the chat, but you're not going to get ban hammered, just so you know.
Isn't it wonderful?
Yeah. Look at that.
Yet, we might know eventually. We might find out that Nate did help Kyle forge things. We don't know. ...
This is so funny to me.
He didn't, but he certainly helped Kyle. Listen to Ben. Nate's the one who came up with the idea, which was a bullshit idea that wouldn't.
All right, I don't know what you think about Ben as being a reliable witness. Kyle at least has some charm and I might have, could have, would have done better, and comes in with that humble Southern kind of slick thing going on. But Ben is sitting there rocking and twitching and you tell me that guy's not on meth? Fuck no. That guy's high. I mean, come on. You have a spurned ex and you're using that as your citation. Okay, good luck with that. I'm sure, that'll work out great.
We don't know. We can find out. Yeah. We could find out that Omarosa's chest is not as large as it appears, and she's just she's just fooling us all.
Well, I did hug her, and it is.
Oh, okay. Okay, not a good example. Okay. All right.
That's not how service works. So in that case, he assisted Kyle in lying to the court.
Oops! Oopsie daisy!
We have definitive proof of that besides Ben's word and Nate's actions so far? As in, do we have DMs between Nate and Kyle? Not yet. Will we? Maybe.
Please keep making those faces. They're perfect, honestly, God.
3. Worse than a serial rapist. This is...
Oh, please explain this. This is the part I hate about you.
Representation of what had been said. What was said was that I don't know this person, and I do know Nate, and I would rather not be in a room with Nate because of what he said and done to me specifically.
No. That was set up as a question to compare Nate with Earl. We saw Steve set it up that way. We saw you laughing and playing along with the little game. So that's actually what happened.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah. It's just, she's just the question just happened to come up. I don't know who asked it. I don't know how I got trapped in this question that somebody asked.
Fucking Steve asked it. That's who asked it.
We dreamed up a story and now we're drowning in it. Oops. Keep talking, Judge. Keep talking.
That's being referenced is Earl Warden, whatever. I can't remember his name. Warden, who was convicted of rape in the 80s, says that he never did it, and is standing trial for there's some other accusations that have come out about him in the...
All right. I dislike the Goblin, but in all fairness, if you asked me if I'd rather be in a room with David Earl Warden after reading what he's done, how penetration with a gun and all that stuff, would I rather be in a room with him, knowing that he has a pending case with his daughters, right? Convicted of the incident with the gun, right? Would I rather be in a room with him, even if he was really nice to me and said, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, and really nice and opened doors and closed them? Would I rather be in a room with that guy or Chesh?
Or would you rather kick Cheshire into her own lane and then drive her over with your car? Which one?
Can we not make violent comparisons? Because I don't want to lose my channel. In Minecraft, she's not serious, you know? Okay, but like in all seriousness, right? Knowing that this person's a violent person and knowing that she's a manipulative cunt, I'm not thrilled with sitting in the room with either one. But a rational person who's honest and actually cares about what happens to other people and not just what happens to oneself might not want to sit in a room with a monster like Warden. And I'm one of those people that I would choose to sit in a room with Chesh, even though I dislike her and despise her, right?
Yeah.
Am I irrational?
I'd like to tell her to get into her own lane and then drive a car over her, but a metaphorically car.
Metaphorical cars, yes.
Yeah.
Like Doctor Strange.
It's a metaphor. Yeah. I would rather tell her to
as far as
stay over there on that side of the room.
Months ago, he was planning on fighting. I don't know what has come from that since. I haven't looked recently, but take that for what you will. So, removing all of the context from this is incredibly manipulative and is very what's the word I'm looking for here? He's looking for an emotional trigger, an emotional reaction. Well, how could somebody say I was worse than a rapist? I'll be clear. This is a statement of fact because it is my experience. Nate and his friend.
Okay, let's talk about this. Is your experience fact? Press 1 or 2 if experience is fact. Now, experience might be your personal truth or experience, but the term fact was used. Is experience fact? I'm just curious what you guys think about that. I'm going to continue to play.
Have treated me worse than the convicted rapist, Earl David Warden. I remembered his name. They have treated me more poorly than he has. So yes, in that context, Nate is worse than Earl David Warden.
Okay.
Right. Well, hold on. You, Cheshire, have treated me worse than... I can't even say that.
I know what I can say.
But, I mean, you could say the same thing to her, but those questions, those types of comparisons that you're making is the thing that people see that you're doing. Yeah? You chose to do it. You chose to make those comparisons. You didn't have to do that. Nobody forced you to. So, you know, it's not a valid comparison to compare a non-rapist to a rapist. You idiot. Yeah?
So one of the things that I could think of is like if I couched a horrible question that's designed to make Steve into a monster, and I said, y'all know who Matt Bell was, and he was in all of these communities, including he interacted in Steve's community, and he was a aggressive Christian theist who was crotchety and mean and swore and very unusual kind of guy. Seemed fairly smart, but also aggravating to speak to. Matthew Bell was nice to me and some other people occasionally. He was mean to some people, but he was nice to occasional people. And does that mean that I can now go, Well, Matthew Bell was convicted and is doing prison time for what he did over Twitter by proxy to a child in a child porn incident, which he's in jail for, by the way. But he was nice to me, and he treated me better than Steve McRae did. So I'm just saying that child pedo guy, that guy treated me better than Steve McRae did. Do you see how dishonest and nasty that is? Like, do I have to spell it out any clearer? I have to say this again, that Steve McRae, of course, is better to be in a room with than Matthew Bell. Absolutely. He's not that much of a monster. Like, her morality scale is missing. She's godless girl status.
She is actually broadcasting it to some audience. Yeah, 600 people watch this thing. Like, she is broadcasting this stuff as if it's normal. It is not normal. You do not compare convicted rapists to people who don't rape.
And the only reason why I couched it that way is to say how dishonest and creepy it is to do something like that. And the first person that started that was Steve McRae with Heathen. Let me ask you these questions.
Yeah.
And then she has ran with it, and it's so off base.
Yeah.
It makes me question their morality. It makes me question their threat meters, everything.
Yeah, there's something wrong with their brains, obviously. These people are not right in the head.
Who is a convicted rapist because of his behavior and treatment of people, not because of anything to do with any rape that's gone on or anything like that.
What she's not telling you is that their little harassment campaign against Fiona and me and a few others was going great until Nate stepped in with his videos. When Nate stepped in, that all just sort of caved because, it's a fact of history. When Demi and Nate, both of them, stepped in to address their behavior, their actual behavior, and the abhorrent shit that they were pulling against Fiona Robertson and anybody defending her. They were having so much fun until Nate stepped in, and it just really messed with their heads. This is why they're comparing him to a rapist and stuff. So
ever since that, they've really been set on dethroning him and really trying to throw mud at his reputation. Like, yeah, that's a good point.
And it's funny because Nate didn't have much time for YouTube until when he did, and when he did, it was right at the height of their harassment campaign, and he stepped in. He made some videos, and plus he's doing his own thing, and now I think he has 80,000 subscribers. They must just hate him so much. They must just hate him so much just for that alone. Not to mention his arguments.
By the way, if you want to see something funny, if you can dig into Twitter, was it last week? Steve was trying to say that he has virtue ethics and morality, and he did the most shit job of explaining virtue ethics with the trolley problem, and he still landed in consequentialism, you fucking idiot.
Or if he's just that stupid. This is something that came up last night, for anybody who was watching that stream. When somebody asks are they lying or are they stupid? Sometimes the answer is both. Because they're being stupid about lying. Like, they're lying.
Yes, yes.
They're bad at it. Or what they're lying, it's a dumb thing or a dumb way to lie about something. So yeah, this is just an entirely poignant, let me try and bait you and have you get an emotional response from people by completely twisting and removing any kind of actual information. Remember when I said he was being vague? He's being vague on purpose. Because again, keep in mind that the way this tweet is written, you don't know who he's referring to there. You do not know who he's referring to until the end.
Good. It was well written. It was a bit evil. Ooh, yeah, but good going, Nate. Well put.
I love how she was like, you don't know who it was written to until the end, as if like you had to go through paragraphs and paragraphs to come to the conclusion. Like reading comprehension's that hard. Like you can't just eyeball the tweet and figure it out, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, it has to be analyzed for 2 hours.
God damn. I'm surprised she doesn't have like a little Sharpie and she's like, okay, this is the structure, and then like correcting the grammar. Gosh.
Behold the evil of Nate the lawyer.
The Katie Joy restraining order against Steve. The absurdity of this. Steve lives in California and Katie lives in Minnesota. And he's been trying to support Katie in this harassment suit that can't have taken place, like this of a situation that can't have taken place because they've never been in the same room together. Nobody said you physically harmed a woman at all. Nobody. Find me where. Pixar, it didn't happen. Show me where anybody accused Nate of physically harming a woman.
Huh? What does this have to do with Nate? It's Steve harassing Katie Joy online. It's an online harassment.
You do know that if somebody like sexually harasses somebody or makes them uncomfortable, and I'm like, XXiled, hey, and XXiled's like, nay, but I'm like, hey. Like,
yeah,
like
no.
She can say that I was harassing her if like I keep it up. Like if it's like one rejection, like this is inappropriate, cool. But like if it keeps happening and you're making someone uncomfortable or whatever, they can say that they're being harassed. Like it's a thing.
It's not a crime either. They're not accusing you of a crime, you liars. That's what they were saying. You have accused me of a crime. No. You just whistled at me as you were driving by on the street, like that's sexual harassment, but it's not a crime. Sorry. And it's not a workplace. Now, she could make the case that it was her workplace or it was like a workplace, but electronic communications, are you trying to say that you can't sexually harass somebody over the internet? Really? I think you're wrong about that.
Well, the other thing is interesting is the culture that they've kind of set up, right? So if you've ever like really watched, particularly Rum and Coke nights, the culture that Steve has set up is where he flirts with women and he expects women to be like down with it and cool. Now I have to tell you that if you directly tell Steve you're not cool, I'm not interested, it's been my experience with Steve that he will back the fuck out. But the weird thing is there's this assumption that if you're an attractive woman and he flirts with you, then, you should be able to but not every woman functions that way, right? So the culture in that particular section is incredibly kind of sexually charged in a way. And you got Nikki one time, I think it was Nikki, she's something. She has nothing to contribute ever. But she went on and on about how she was going to give Steve a 3-hour blowjob, and it was like,
that's a long blowjob. Jeez.
Yeah,
wow.
It does not sound like a good time. I don't know, but I thought about it and I was like, this is pretty weird. Like the vibes that they have and they've set up. So when a woman says, I'm uncomfortable with this, and they say it, what's interesting is Steve has it set up where the women that have accepted this and encouraged that culture are now attacking for him.
Yeah.
It's almost like Mrs. Watersford status, right? Like it's kind of trippy.
Yeah. It's beyond trippy. Go ahead.
Very specific. I've never met. What you mean is you've never met in person. That's the physical part. You've never met them in person. You've met them online. You followed them around online. You stalked them online, which is emotionally harmful. You've done a lot of things that are purposefully harmful.
I have yet to see proof that Nate's actually stalked anybody.
Yeah. No, I think that as soon as you start lying about somebody or smearing them, or one of your friends doxes you have a right to keep an eye on those people. You really do. I mean, you might not have to watch them 24 hours a day like they watch their online perceived enemies, but you can pay attention to what they're doing and call it out. Just like they're doing to Katie on a regular basis, yeah. But it's not okay when people call Steve out. Everybody. Then you start making like CPS reports, trying to get people in trouble with their license boards or whatever they do. They do a lot of that stuff.
Also,
they like to take things into real life because this is their real life right here. Her sitting on a stream and talking is all she does. That's it.
Well, I think it's also interesting how many communities or creators that Steve kind of chases down to fight his battles for him, because he's a pansy and he can't fight his own battle. So he has these women fight it for him, and then he has these other like creators. Like, remember when they tried to pull in Unirock and they tried to use Unirock, and then Unirock blazed up and went, no, fuck no, what are you guys doing? And then they pulled in Defango, and Defango, and they just start pulling in all these different people to fight these battles. And now, like, I'm looking and I'm seeing that Steve's kind of like going with the teen moms and the soccer moms that hate KJ, and he's trying to rile them up and be like, yeah, I'm your ally. And it's just...
Yeah, no, Cheshire put out the call to, her girlfriends. And yeah, they're trying to pull this off, but not even half the community is buying into their bullshit. Yeah, even though they don't like Katie, they can see that what Steve was doing was creepy as fuck. So... Yeah.
So not everybody's your tool. Not everybody's dumb enough to be fight the flat earth.
To people's reputations, male or female. Physically harmful, different thing. Never met somebody. See what I mean?
See what I mean? ...
Manya says, I asked him to show proof and not just claim. He blocked me. Shocking. I know.
What does Manya want proof of again?
I don't know. Did she send in a super chat?
Yeah, I asked Nate to show proof. Proof of what? Of which claim? I mean, I guess I'm missing it. So, bummer. Manya's so special. Oh, yes, the Guardians. That's another one. So Steve tried to allocate the Guardians to fight his fight, right? And he's like getting them excited and stuff and all worked up.
That backfired on him, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
It backfired. I love it when it backfires. Like with Unirock so far and the Guardians. Defango's still creeping around. Cheese. He's even in her live chat later on in this, toward the end.
Yeah, he is. He's one of them.
He hasn't been deterred. So, but like, Unirock saw through it, and some of the Guardians saw through this stuff too. At least one. The one with the biggest. How did I want to say biggest? The loudest voice. Let's put it that way. The loudest voice.
Yeah, the loudest voice. Right.
He put this out here. If he's out there making these kinds of claims, he should have an easy time proving it, and it certainly wouldn't be offside for people to ask for evidence of any of these claims and who's actually making them. Number one, I'm glad I'm probably going to get through this in under an hour because I don't want to talk about this for an hour.
Yeah, you do.
Number one, not a lawyer because I am black. Bitch, where? When is anybody the only person who seems to care about...
I'm just about ready to see, like, Reds make a video going, racism is when you're overtly racist, saying, I hate black people.
Definition. Like a black man in the community cannot tell when these people are being racist, right? Are there any other lawyers that they question whether or not they're lawyers? No, just Nate. That's it.
They didn't question Kyle's lawyer for being a lawyer.
Now, does that mean that they're being
Just
deliberately racist? No, but Nate is allowed to feel however he fucking wants to about what you're doing to him, especially when you're questioning his credentials. So, and they know he's a lawyer. They just make these statements publicly questioning whether he's a lawyer or not. She knows he's a lawyer. Yeah.
skin tone in any of this is you. Nate is the only one who seems to give a shit about how light or
Chess is speaking from her goblin privilege.
Or dark someone's skin tone is, about whether or not they can be assaulted. So, nobody.
I told you she was going to race bait.
The only person I think I ever saw bringing up Nate's skin tone was Dr. Cross laughing at an unattractive black man going at an attractive black woman, and she was making like a joke.
I was surprised to learn that the other woman that they're talking about was half black. She's just, I was surprised to learn that. I didn't know. I just thought she was a white girl. Not my fault. All we have to go is her images. I don't know her race. I don't care about her race. But I don't think Nate even brought up race. Yeah, he knows his own race, and he knows what these, people are doing to him.
I just want to point out, since you just pointed out, the only thing I remember is this guy laughing at an unattractive black man who was attacking an attractive black woman. And I'm thinking, you do know, that Sweets is passable. You know that term, passable?
And not only that, but what's it have to do with attractiveness? Yeah. Yeah.
But Sweets is on that border where she is treated differently. When people look at her, people don't necessarily know that she's partially black. She's what they call passable. And I'm not saying that that's good or bad or anything, but I'm trying to say is that her experience in life and how she's treated might be different. I'm just saying.
She was laughing at you. It had nothing to do with your credentials whatsoever. It had to do with your behavior and her experience with people behaving in the manner that you are.
Yeah, and Nate's already explained that. Basically, he said, I don't want anything to do with you. I'm blocking you. Yeah? I'm blocking you for interfering in trying to get me canceled from Mel's show.
So he's going full Candace Owens. Any criticism of him is actually about black people because reasons. Yeah, this is the race baiting bit. I've never seen anybody.
No, the race baiting bit is when you trot out the fact that Sweet Heathen is part black when nobody knew that.
Yeah. Again, passable, right? Some people assumed that she was white. Some people assumed, oh, you might be Italian. Like people made assumptions, and like there is this term, like my black friends have explained to me that there are some people that they slide under the radar and they don't have the same racist experience that other people do. It doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, and that she doesn't have her own challenges. But I'm just saying, when you point out the guy that was comparing and laughing, it is a bad look.
They start comparing attractiveness too, in their mixing things up on the Twitters where
weird.
Like to do their fighting. They start comparing, oh, this is a black man who looks like this, and this is a black woman who looks like this. Which one is the better person? This is how low level their trolling is. This is just pathetic. And she's here admitting this stuff.
I also want to point out too, when people whine about race baiting, they're almost always white, and they're almost always either libertarian or on the conservative end, or they're classical liberals. Those are the people. And I don't hear anybody that isn't white cry about race baiting. Oh no, maybe Veckel. There's Veckel.
Yeah, I think anything about Nate not being a lawyer because he's black. People saying you're not a lawyer is because of your statements about law being so mind-blowingly wrong and just incorrect of what any lawyer would understand.
Citation needed. We've seen Nate is sitting on panels with 3 other lawyers. He's got 80,000 people tuned into his channel for matters on law. He's an actual lawyer. And you judging him as being an unacceptable lawyer, yeah, I think some people could extrapolate from that. Yeah. I think it's more likely that you're just mad that Nate is good at not only what he is good at as a lawyer, he's also good at pounding your ass. And he has so many times. It's not even funny. I think that's generally your basic problem. Yeah. But he could start to feel as if it's because he's black. He has every right to do that. So we can defend either thing. However it plays out.
Although some of your statements have got people questioning whether or not you're a dirty cop also. So
oh, wow. She has thrown that dirty cop shade everywhere. I mean, every chance she gets. Yeah, and my understanding is in some stream, Nate said, and we knew little tricks to get people to convince, to say things like in interviews and things like that. Sort of like what you saw with Ilya Moon.
Right, because they're dealing with sociopaths and pathological liars and
right.
Sometimes psychopaths. So he's really good at poning these people right in front of you. This person right here, Cheese Whiz.
So verbal techniques.
He could be a dirty cop, or he could be just really smart.
There's give and take. So if you watch the Ilya Moon interview again, like you'll see that he lays things on the table. He gives things to her. He like that sense of give and take, that sense of I'm in a safe place. These are all tricks that they've learned to do. This is why if you're talking to a cop, the best thing that you could ever do is shut the fuck up.
Get a lawyer. Yeah.
Get a lawyer and shut the fuck up, because they're not your friends. Anything you say can be used against you.
and sometimes it will be.
But that's how they're trained to do it. Like this. Let me tell you, if you ever want to watch them fail at, ideas and philosophy, watch them fail at explaining what the principle of charity is and how they put it in there, because this right here is highlighting that she has no idea how to be charitable.
Yeah. Some people are saying that Nate's a dirty cop. Oh, really? I bet they're saying that and a lot worse. Because why? Because ... Because they're mad. Yeah, that's all. That's all this is.
Dirty cop. I mean, if there is an investigation that goes on, because discovery is still a thing that can happen on Kyle's case, according to the court record I read yesterday, and since Nate's been named by Kyle, if they subpoena Kyle's messages, it's very well possible that they could find Nate in contempt.
And it could be very well possible, Cheshire, that you're getting sued. You are getting sued.
I've heard that rumor.
It
Something
could
about
be
being
possible.
sued in Canada.
You're getting sued. That could be possible too. But go on, Chesh. Let's hear about how Nate is going to be somehow. What are you going to do? You're going to keep after Kyle? I think it's over with Kyle, isn't it?
Well, he hasn't been picked up yet, so they have an arrest warrant, but that's all that's going on right now.
Then they're gonna what? Go and look at his messages with Nate. The police are gonna go, all right, we're bringing you in because you talked to Nate, the lawyer from YouTube.
Excuse me.
Up against the wall.
Him advice to go get a lawyer.
Yeah, I know. And hey, want to make some artwork for me? Because your artwork's good. Yeah. She's just such a... This is great. Okay, go on. Let's watch the rest. Let's get through this Nate... Oh, she's going to talk about Nate the whole time. Okay, I got to pace myself.
Nikki, I gotcha. So this Nikki P is the good Nikki. Everybody wave the good Nikki. Good Nikki is not weirdo Nikki that is part of the 3 or 4 Stooges, depending on who's in that time of the month show that hangs around Steve. This is not the weirdo Nikki. So
Nikki P has never bought into Ilya Moon's bullshit. That much you know.
Yep. And yes, the dirty cop accusations. Yep, it's weird that the law enforcement streak's interesting because at the same time they're really leaning on law enforcement for Kyle, and frankly for quite a petty theft, if anything, like right, like it's way blown out of proportion, and the damages are way inflated. It's absolutely hilarious.
Get him disbarred. And if that's the case, he wouldn't be a lawyer anymore now, would he? I don't know. Intrigue Feline says people genuinely thought I was a lawyer by virtue of my actions and thoroughness. Yeah, exactly. It's not the question about your credentials. It has nothing to do with your skin tone. It has to do with whether or not you appear to know what the fuck you're talking about. If somebody who has no credentials can be confused for somebody who does have credentials based on their behavior and based on what they're saying because it lines up with what the fuck is going on. In my personal opinion, Nate is dishonest as he twists people's words. I wonder how he behaves professionally. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. It's certainly questionable. Seeing his behavior on the internet, I wouldn't want to hire him personally. But that's probably why he uses a pseudonym.
And given your behavior, the way you behave on the internet, nobody would want you as a client. So I think that's obvious. Although maybe you do have a lawyer, but they probably aren't too happy about it.
I don't think it's dumb for anybody to use a pseudonym. I'm not drinking, guys. Pseudonym online. In fact, I think it's smart to do that. You have people like Godless Girl shrieking at you like a banshee, throwing your docs all around and saying roast beef, C word, and you know, like with those kind of people around, with AT2 Productions going, "Hey, crafty, look what I got." All those kind of people going around. I don't blame anyone for not even showing their face. These people are creepy. Like, I'm sorry, but like, you know, some people want an internet, you know, like Nick Suter does this. I want an internet where everybody is shown and all the trolls will be smited because there'll be a verification process and there'll be less internet abuse if everybody knows your face. And what's going to happen is that free speech is going to be squelched. Employers are going to control what you say on the internet, and people like AT2 Productions is going to run rampant and say, "I'm not saying I'm doxing. I'm not saying I would ever dox, but you know, you better watch your back. I know people that would, and I'm just holding them back like the hand of God, holding back evil. I'm not to blame because you know I don't cause the evil. I just am like the author of the story, like you know how you know." J.R.R. Martin writes the story of Game of Thrones. You don't blame him for what Cersei does. It's not his fault. It's Cersei's fault, right? Yeah, like, whatever. Sorry. Oh, I've gotten into theological conversations about God that ended like this. Anyway.
So,
go ahead.
I just wanted to read Misha's comment. Misha,
which one's that? She said, so I put it up.
She said Chesh did try to hire Michael Saltz for her defense, not realizing that there is such a thing as a conflict of interest. That's because she's a legal genius. She thinks talking to Kyle is a crime or in some way unethical. Yeah. That's why they had to harass him and run him off the internet instead of act like adults and handle their business matters in private, like, you know, decent human beings. No, they wanted to make it a blood sport, and now Steve has finally said he's out for blood. That's it. He just wants blood.
Yeah, it says a lot about him, doesn't it? Steve, tell me, what is the best kind of justice? Is it retribution? Is that the best? Do you like a retribution system? Is that what the justice system
It's retributive. It's retributive. I mean, restorative justice. He's restorative justice.
For sure, that's what that is. Yeah.
He's given it a lot of thought. Yeah.
I'm sure he has.
Except when it comes to Kyle.
Just like he thinks it's the honorable thing to do with the train track thing, and then he fails at explaining virtue ethics. Yep.
Did he? I wouldn't know. I didn't see it. I didn't see that part. Thankfully.
The trick is when you do number one, everybody around you, including your friends, then have friends, assuming you have any, have to start being incredibly cautious about anything they say ever. This is basically, don't criticize me because of my skin tone. Or I'm going to try and send like a woke mob of people after you, or even just well-meaning individuals who are like, yo, don't be racist. And it's like, well, nobody said this. This is inciting harassment by making claims that are this just factually incorrect.
Again, you've not criticized you've not questioned any other lawyer for actually being a lawyer. Like Emily Baker, right? How do you know she's a lawyer? Why? Well, then why are you questioning whether Nate's a lawyer? Maybe he's starting to feel that has something to do with him being a black man. Especially the way you've been treating him like worse than a rapist. Okay? So as a black man, he gets to make those determinations for himself. And this is what you, as a white woman, need to understand. That when you go throwing this kind of shit around, like he's worse than a fucking convicted rapist, and he's a black man, yeah, maybe he thinks you're racist. You know, his wife watching this stuff probably thinks you're racist too.
I'm told that there's a video of 30 seconds or so of Chess being casually racist. And maybe I'll turn that on after we get through this, so that way,
yeah,
I don't have to worry about fiddling with it.
She's an expert on race in the United States of America, right? Isn't that what we were told? She knows. She had just educated everybody on what race baiting is, and I could told you she's going to do it herself. It'll come.
Because the thing is, if any of one of us had actually said that, Nate would have blasted it all over.
Post, I love you for all your videos.
Screenshots there, it would be everywhere if any of us had actually said this. But we didn't, which is why you don't see that. They blast anything they think can be viewed in a specific way, even if it's clipped out of context. Nate.
Oh, we don't clip things out of context.
And then they'll try and...
Well,
none of us do. None of the people against Steve have clipped anything out of context, ever. Citation needed.
Well, that's what they claim, right? They always say, they always call Nate Captain Clippy Clip because that's so clever.
Yeah, because he knows he's been studying you, just like the rest of us had, and he knows that having clips handy is really good when you go on a smear campaign against people. And that's what's pissing you off. Now you have somebody who is armed with, experience, has watched several of their friends get smeared by you people, and now he just shows the clips. So that's why you're mad about the clips. But they're not out of context.
Am I out of context? I'm playing your video straight. I'm just saying. No clippy clips today.
Run with that. But to say the reason why it's not everywhere right now is because it never happened. And Dapper makes a good point. If any of us had said that, we'd have deserved it to be blasted. Absolutely, I agree. If like Team Skeptic or Fight the Flat Earth or something said something like this to Nate, it ought to be blasted everywhere. But
you compared him with hey Dapper Dino. Dapper Dino.
Shout out to Dapper Dino, White Knight in shining armor.
Yeah, the harrowing. Yeah.
Yes, we know you're the harrowing bitch.
These bitches, Steve, Sweet Heathen, and Cheshire Vic, compared Nate the lawyer to a convicted rapist. They chose to make that comparison. They chose to ask the question, who would you rather be in a room with? This guy, who happens to be black, or this white Earl David Warden who's raped multiple women and is, who would you... Oh, I'd rather be... Nate has caused real harm by blocking me on Twitter. Yeah? That's what they did, Dapper Dino. You should know better. Behave yourself, you idiot.
I just want to point out who do I want to be in a room with? Matt Bell, who was nice to me, or Steve McRae, who said I attacked his daughter, which I did not do. I have to tell you, Matt Bell never said I attacked his daughter, so therefore, Matt Bell is just a better person than Steve McRae because he was nice to me, people. And that's what matters.
Yeah, and
Being
it's worse
polite.
because they set it up against Nate the lawyer. Yeah. Nate. The only thing he did was pone his arguments. Yeah. Pone Steve in a debate and call you out on your shit for what you were doing to Fiona Robertson and me. And stepped up to the Earl David Warden argument and own you. That was it. Now you decided that because Nate stepped up and did that he should be compared to the convicted rapist.
Right. And again, because, clips and out of context, obviously Matt Bell's the monster. And obviously Matt Bell deserves to go to jail, between the two. And it's clear to me, just because Steve said something that I felt was untrue and was a slight against my character and then blocked me, does not mean that he's the same monster. So it's so stupid, and it's so easy to show in real life how dumb this is and how harmful it is and what it's meant to do.
Yeah. They like to cause real harm to people's reputations by comparing them to convicted rapists with sweet little looking, innocent looking, sweet heathen. Oh, I'm so afraid. I'm so afraid. Yeah. He caused me real harm. We saw what you did. Yeah, we saw it. Don't go trying to create more of a monster out of Nate than you already tried to. He's already he's already experienced the worst of it. You can't really do anything to him now.
And maybe a really bad Scarlett O'Hara. Yeah. I mean, it's like that damsel in distress, I can't decide between guys, as God is my witness, whatever. I was just doing a damsel in distress video. So maybe, I don't know, wasn't on purpose. But yes, I agree. Your beagle probably does sound better. I agree.
Negative exponents.
Fight the platter.
Oh, negative exponents.
Oh, I just want to say Negative just tweeted about this an hour or so ago. Provided Nate's response, and to be fair, I provided the unlisted live stream from Red's channel. Yeah, it's not like we don't have the source. The source is all there. Just because you jump around doing nothing but hours-long live streams doesn't mean that people aren't paying attention to you now. And it's not even Nate. Yeah. The audience, your audience and your former audience members are paying attention to what you're saying because it's fascinating how low you go to them. So Negative has provided the context, but it won't matter, Negative. They'll just keep lying. They're just going to keep lying.
Or Team Skeptic. If one of us ever said something like this, they'd get put, and we all found out about it, they'd be put on blast just as hard as Team has been for making threats. They'd be kicked out so goddamn fast and make a goddamn head spin. We don't deal with that. We don't.
That's
play
violence.
These kinds of fucking games, and we don't want that kind of stuff around us because it's racist.
Uh-huh.
Like the time when the guy said, "Don't be within 6 feet of me," and they went, "Clutch the plurals."
Yeah.
Remember that?
Because it's racist. Yeah. What you're doing to Nate what Steve did to Nate when he set up that question, it was racist. There was, you could interpret that as racism. If you're charitable, you won't. But he's not charitable to you guys because you compared him to a convicted rapist. For no reason at all. There was absolutely no reason to do that. So why did you do it? Yeah. You got beaten in an argument? Oh dear. Let's pull out the racism card. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember about the time when we met Rez in real life and he was upset because somebody said hi and was let into his room. But it wasn't like a single room. Like he was off in the bedroom, and there's a living room with other people that he shares the suite with. So imagine when you go to camp or a conference and there's these multiple rooms set up and there's a big living room in the middle. and person was let in. Person did not have any problems with Red's before, and Red's like response to it was hostile and ridiculous. And after a big confrontation, his hysteria, he said, "You're lucky I didn't bring my Ruger." This is a man that is a scared, shaking chihuahua that brandishes guns and BK apparently, or pretends that he does, and then tells lies and tells everybody he does. That's possible. Towards the other kicker of the story is towards a black man, right? That's the kicker of the story. But then says that it actually didn't happen, and he told this lie so that like he could trick people, and each person had this special lie that he told, where if it got out of the box, he could tell who betrayed him. This is a totally normal guy, Red's rhetoric. Totally normal. Like, this is what normal people do, right? Yeah. You're lucky I didn't bring my you know what. That's some pretty overboard shit.
Who wants to hang out with racists? Nate, is it you hanging out with Agrippa? Who's racist? That's like a regular thing.
Agrippa makes some jokes that like technically are racist, but is Agrippa himself racist? You guys can make your decision.
Yeah, you can make your decision about how you feel about what Agrippa says and Nate's association with him and that sort of thing. But what they did was racist and can be perceived as racist by a black man. It's not even a stretch.
Yeah.
He's entitled to feel that way. So.
But I can also play a video of Red's and A2 production talking about how prison rape is awesome and amazing, and making jokes about Kyle and soap.
Yeah. And you know what? I've also seen Sean Hufford and AT2 and the rest of these guys hanging out talking about when Sean got fired. He blamed the man who fired him was black. And he was like, yeah, he was just exerting his power. And he said it like that on purpose. Like that's I would call that outright racist right there, that statement. But some people might just say that's passive racism. No. He's blaming the guys for being a black man wanting to fire him. Yeah, because he was white. It just makes no sense at all. Because I just want
to point out that one single incidence of something where that's a racist joke does not necessarily mean the whole of the person is racist. So if you felt like, for instance, the stupid drum that G-Man's beating and going, Sam made a racist joke, if you feel like that was a racist joke, like that is not the end-all be-all of Sam. You look at the collective of Sam's behavior, not just the single incident of a joke that was distasteful. And the same thing with Agrippa. When I look at the collective of Agrippa and knowing how Agrippa interacts and what he says about people, I don't see what you're accusing him of. But like nuance, it's difficult for goblins and G-Man.
Agrippa is a racist. He says a racist, makes racist comments, racist threats all the time. He's actually a racist.
And?
He admits he's a racist. This is not news.
I don't think he admits he's a racist.
Who does Agrippa hang out with? Who encourages and enables Agrippa? Yeah, people like Nate.
Hey, lettuce.
People who take shit out of context and try and twist it and bend it to whatever narrative they think they can do to try and get internet points. Crafty.
I like the uncomfortable pause here.
The irony of Dapper says the irony of race baiting after saying a woman wasn't black enough to be.
Yes, Hannibal. I don't think Agrippa is racist. An incident where you go that joke is edgy does not mean that it's the whole of the person. Absolutely.
Assaulted is something. Yeah, it's kind of interesting that it's the person he's referring to who didn't want to be around him is black. She's half black, half white. That's the person he's referring to in both of these. An
attractive black woman versus ugly black man. And Nate's not ugly, by the way. So, I mean, they made this about appearances. I just want to remind everybody they did that. They compared Nate with a convicted rapist. And yeah. And because Manya got upset and at something that Agrippa did, oh, yeah, Agrippa's a big bad racist. You're welcome, documenting hate.
Anytime. I got you.
You are so welcome.
I think that's meant to be like, oh.
So these are the same one, by the way, and both of these are the same one.
Lettuce. Sweet Heathen is part black, part white, I guess, or she's mixed race. I don't know what her races are, but they basically race baited by saying that Nate was attacking. Nate didn't know that Sweet Heathen was mixed race. He was so stupid because he didn't know. He should be able to smell that sort of thing and suss that right out, just based on appearance alone. Yeah, she's white passing.
So he stretched them out to make it seem like more than it is, because of course he did. Calling Agrippa racist is offensive to racists. That's how bad Agrippa is.
He was fine when he was friends with you guys.
Number one is just gross. I mean, it just gets worse, but number one is just... Let's look at the definition of race baiting again, since we just looked at that.
Yes, let's do that.
Intentionally encouraging racism or anger about issues relating to race, often to get political advantage. Don't know what to tell you.
Thank you, Hannibal.
Cult claims about me. What cult?
Yours.
Seriously.
Steve's.
What cult?
Yours, the one that blocks everybody that doesn't agree and is setting up like lanes for different people to be in. You get in that lane over there. You get in that lane over here. These are the people around Steve. You know, your cult. That's the one we're talking about. Yours.
Nate likes to insert himself in situations that have nothing to do with him, get in the way, be problematic and make things more difficult, and then demand that everybody praise and thank him for doing so. Go away, dude. None of us give a shit. None of us would ever talk about you.
Oh, you give a shit. Like I said, you were doing you were having so much fun harassing people, using rape as a weapon, using a convicted rapist as a cudgel, and then Nate stepped in and just blew you guys away, your arguments, with his videos and just pointing out what you guys were doing. Yikes. I mean, it's not like nobody noticed. Everybody knew it. They were just staying out of the drama. They couldn't be bothered to weigh in, but Nate did. He stepped up to the plate. Tried to debate Red's rhetoric. We there's history here, and it's all there, and it didn't change. You're not going to retcon it.
Can't. You have zero self-control. You have a channel that blew up and was doing incredibly well, and as soon as that peak tipped off and started going down again, you immediately went right back to what you were doing because you're not able to do anything but. And
is she saying that's a Nate?
Yeah, she's saying that's a Nate.
Yeah, Nate's video about the soccer team was trending on YouTube's page. Try again. What the heck is? What is her brain doing here?
She's stalking Nate. She's stalking him so bad. She knows his intentions about everything.
Wait, did she suggest that Nate needs this filthy little goblin as a boost? Like, what is happening?
Yeah, that's what she's suggesting. She actually is. That's what I'm laughing.
And this do-nothing hobo that has no creative juices, that has the same damn argument as he did like 5 years ago or so when he waltzed in the community about agnostics and atheism, and nothing has changed. Nothing has grown in him. If anything, his hair maybe, because he's lost everything on top, so he keeps trying to compensate by growing it longer. This guy is somehow going to boost Nate's views. Like, is that what she's suggesting? Like she does know that Nate has fans that are outside of this weird little niche, right?
I don't know what she's doing. She's just being a troll. That's it.
Just being a trash goblin.
And it's weird and it's creepy. Get a life? What are you doing?
Nate has a Venn diagram.
Leonard says in one of his videos he used race against Sweet. Yep.
See, I told you the race baiting was going to happen. There it is.
Weaponizing your skin tone against people is kind of fucked up. It certainly doesn't help you, and it certainly doesn't help anybody.
Ooh, Hannah, did that happen? How did I miss that? Hannibal. He had to.
Yeah, that's true.
Get out! How did I even miss that? That's great.
Yeah, it's not comedy right there. Like,
yeah, it's just like, yeah. A rape apologist is someone who defends acts of rape.
Because that's totally what that is.
like a straw man is when you make the claim that your friend was called a rape apologist when he wasn't. An idiot is someone who goes on and strawmans so many times saying that the accusation was that Steve is a rape apologist, that Steve actually turned into a rape apologist, and so did you. That's an idiot.
Shut your mouth about Priest McFeely. Priest McFeely, he's a priest and therefore a godly man, and you cannot make such accusations of him. You would never do such a thing. Yes, they made him go to a different parish. Yes, but shut your mouth about McFeely. He is a honorable priest.
He's such an honorable guy. It was consensual, guys. Just like the rapist said. Just like
same skin tone, because you're making them look bad. And you're also, shitting on people who are actually might be allies of people of your skin tone, and you may be shitting on people who
what? Allies of people of your skin tone?
Who are doing.
What is she going on about? Allies of people with your skin tone. Oh, what?
It's really funny out of context. I'm sorry, but
Queen of doubling down on bullshit and idiocy, right there. Keep talking, because it'll only happen more and more. So, let the lows begin.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
I just want to talk about the allies of skin tone. I'm just stuck on that.
The thing that you're claiming.
Oh, let us.
There may be black people in various countries that are not being allowed to be lawyers, or are not getting clientele as lawyers because of their skin color. And that's a real problem. But you doing this detracts from that problem, because now when they speak out, people are going to be like, really, though?
How dare Nate defend himself against you comparing him
Nate has done
to a rapist? How dare he? How dare he speak up for himself? He should sit down and shut the fuck up, according to you. He should just let you trash him, yeah? While you do that thing that white people do to black men and paint them as a danger to women.
Lettuce says she's not a white supremacist. She's just an ally to white people.
Women and assault and rape apologetics and the VAWA, the Violence Against Women's Act. They're abusing and trying to take advantage of these things to.
Okay, so 1 second here. I'm going to send you a DM. 1 second. XXiled, check your DMs.
Okay. What DM? On Twitter. There's nothing in my Discord. Oh, okay.
Discord, I'm sending you it directly on Discord.
I'm sitting here looking at Discord.
Right, Hannibal, we're gonna send you a link.
Absolute.
All right, give me a second here.
If I get Hannibal on here, that would be epic.
All right, we're gonna send you a link, and we're gonna send it to Discord. 1 second here.
Hannibal is going to pwn this bitch so hard right now. This is going to be so good, everybody. Like,
well, Hannibal and I
share the stream.
About this
share
quite
the stream.
a bit. Yeah. Share the stream if you could.
Yeah, Hannibal is coming in. This is going to be good.
And apparently, Stop Hate is going to be sharing us too. Thank you, Stop Hate, for that extra.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate the extra exposure.
Hey, Girl Frog Jules. Let's do some shout outs to the live chat while we're waiting.
Absolutely.
TIE Fighter Jet, Girl Frog Jules, Rattle Chan, and Di, Laura, Michael King. Hello, everybody. Hi, CJ. Lettuce.
I'm gonna let the dog out. She's like wanting to go room to room. 1 second.
All right. Navy Tax, Negative Exponents, The Sinister Porpoise, Simos Funk. Hey, dude. Burnt Toast. Michael King, Fiona Robertson, Hillary Pugh, Spooky Bed Hair, Marabino. Hey. Who else do we got? And Hannah will be in soon. Thank you, everybody. If I missed anybody, I'm going to hate myself. Let me just check. Laura. Oh, let's go from the top. April's been here. Christian Smith. Ethan plays live. God Hates Us All. John Peterson.
Stop fighting.
Lead Hobo. Liana.
Stop biting Raffle. That's not nice.
Linda C. DK. And Menace to Sobriety. Who else do we have? Nikki P.
Also,
CJ.
Menace, if you'd like a link, we'll bring you in too. I can't have it too big though, because too big is too much.
Oh, I'll shut up if Menace comes in. Don't worry.
But I don't have a way to send it to him. Yep, Tom's Toys.
I can send it to him if you give me the link. How do I get it?
If he wants to.
All right.
Sorry, I'm not gonna put my camera on. I just got out of the shower and I look like shit.
That's all right. None of us have our cameras, so that's good.
I'm in a tank top, and I don't like to show my boobs on YouTube. It'd be too much for y'all. It's too white, and it's too big. So
we can use our imagination.
I'm in a tank top too, but unfortunately my my chest and my traps grew, so I look like a fucking brick.
You've been working out.
I do not look good, but it's okay. It's a work in progress. But something that I thought was super important, and I thought that we should talk about it. Do not mind, dear audience members, that Dumb Bitch McGee is the one who's saying these things, okay? Dumb bitches are everywhere. They will forever exist. Mrs. Waterford was based on dumb bitches because these people are real-life issues, right? Don't worry about that. Don't worry about the mouthpiece. Worry about the sentiment behind the words, right? Rape apologetics does not mean someone is literally defending the act of rape. Almost nobody does that. Nobody literally goes, rape is okay. No, nobody.
Not even rapists.
Not even rapists, right? They'll just pretend to be allies and all this other shit. Nobody cares about allyship. Allyship means literally nothing.
Are you mean they don't even, are you saying me that rapists don't have shirts that say got rape?
Yeah, weird. They don't advertise that they akin to rape. The thing that we got to be careful here is we need to arm folks who are watching with the knowledge to combat these issues. These are common misconceptions that came from the skeptic community during the whole like Gamergate 2012, 2014 era, right? When everybody was worried about what the fuck is feminism, you know, we're going to have just boobs hanging out everywhere and boobs are scary, you know, vagina monologues are not funny, okay? When we're talking about rape apologetics, we're talking about rhetoric that makes it easier to excuse acts of rape. It doesn't mean that the person is defending a rapist. It means that they are misunderstanding how contextually cases such as misunderstanding implied consent, misunderstanding enthusiastic consent, misunderstanding power dynamics are ways in which rape can occur, right? Like if a woman is scared or intimidated of a guy, she may consent to rape only because of the intimidation factor. That's still rape, right? If the guy knowingly intimidated her. But it becomes a little bit more ambiguous if, you know, the guy didn't know he was being intimidated, but the girl felt that she was, right?
Yeah.
This is a very delicate subject. It's not as clear cut as like murder, right? Clearly the other person is not going to consent to be murdered. So we don't have these ambiguous you know, situations where we have to really hearken down to what we mean by rape. What we mean is it is unconsensual sexual altercation or sexual advances, sexual acts, right? Sexual act, I should say. So that includes sexual assault, that includes rape, penetration, oral, any of that is under that umbrella. What Cheshire is saying is that it is okay to defend people who are rapists if the act of rape is done under like ambiguous circumstances. Rape is difficult to define because every situation is unique. But we already know what we're looking for. We are looking for the person did not consent enthusiastically, the power dynamic was off, things such as that nature. Do not play this game where idiots like her and other skeptics think that like, oh, well, she didn't explicitly say no, so it's not rape, right? Or in the case that Nate the lawyer, where she's playing the race card, Nate didn't play the race card. Nate is saying, hey, I am obviously a black man. I am not racially ambiguous. There is no way that the average person can look at me and think that I'm not black. Being black comes with certain stereotypes. And unfortunately, one of those stereotypes is the violent black man raping white women. Emmett Till comes to mind. That is a well-known case. Right. That is well known as a racial stereotype against black men. When you say that a black man is stalking you, intimidating you, sexually harassing you, when demonstrably it's not even close. He has blocked her on Twitter on Facebook after 4 messages. That's it. 4 exchanges, and he blocked her. There was no further communication. She decided to say that she would rather go in a room by herself with a serial rapist than Nate, implying that he is worse as a serial rapist than a serial rapist.
Right. And the reason why I bring up Matt Bell versus Steve McRae is to show you how disgusting that is, how vile that is.
But it's meant to be disgusting because our offense is what they're looking for. Don't give it to them. You can deal with this logically. Are there cases of rape where the person is unconscious, they might be in a state of delirium, they might be in a state where they can't give consent knowingly? Yes. Okay, so if we understand that the dynamics of rape are such that consent cannot be given, like, I don't know, like a fucking 20-year age gap, yeah, let's just say that that's fucking rape. Because I don't think a child can consent with having sex with an adult. We're not talking about a few years apart. We're talking about, what, 10, 15-year difference?
And there's informed consent, right, as well, which is also a thing.
We agree that a child cannot consent. They are not in a mental state where they understand the risk factors that come with sex, right? This is simple. This is what we understand it to be. So when you say, oh, it's like the Earl David Warden case is merely a act of Romeo and Juliet, when there's a 15 or whatever it is, ridiculously high number age gap.
Yes.
That is one knock against the case of consensual sex. That's one thing we could point to say, okay, that's already definitionally what we consider not consensual. The other that issue then comes what we know about what happened, what Earl David Worden agreed happened. This is not anything some reasonable person can listen to and go, yep, that's definitely a consensual act. You make eye contact with somebody at a stoplight or a stop sign, and you guys agree to hardcore BDSM sex in the woods somewhere where you get raped at gunpoint, raped with the gun, and then dumped in the middle of nowhere. No words exchanged. Didn't know her name. Followed her home. Put her under full arrest by pretending to be a police officer using his brother's security vehicle so it looks like a cop car. And you're telling me that in that situation where even Earl David Worden agrees that happened, the only thing that he seems to be dismissing is that it was consensual, that he seems to be arguing is that it's consensual. Yep. No reasonable person can look at that and go, seems legit. So you're either misinformed or you're looking for an excuse to cover your ass because you didn't do your research before having this guest on.
I just want to clarify that the conviction from the 80s with the gunpoint, the victim was 23 years old. There wasn't really a age gap in that section. But
I'm sorry, there's so many under this guy's
There's
belt.
so many, yeah.
What you're referencing is one of Steve's original arguments where he conflated the Romeo and Juliet situation with that situation.
Yeah, because Earl likes to be crafty and he likes to tell people these stories about things that actually did happen. And that's something that actually did happen. The girl was 17. She just turned 17. And he, met her in the, parking lot or something. Parking lot of the Dairy Queen or something where she worked. And she was crying. Earl went up and got her number. He slept with her for like a few months until the cops busted him for something and the mother found out. The mother had a fit, and it's documented in police records. It's not a crime, but it is something that happened. And Earl calls that Romeo and Juliet laws.
I call that something wrong with his character.
He was 35 to 40 when he did it. And, you can't tell exactly because, he's a pathological liar. Unless you have the records in front of you, you wouldn't know. So this is a story that the police were questioning him on. I tried to warn Reds about this. Say, look, even if you don't think, the rape conviction is accurate, Reds, look at what he did. He admitted to lying about his age. Earl David Worden did. He lied about his age to get a girl in bed.
Yeah, but let's throw away most of what we know about Earl David Worden, right?
Okay, yeah.
There was a sexual act at gunpoint. There is no way, unless in a very specific circumstance, like role play and the gun is a toy or something like that, where that can imply consent. Already the power dynamic suggests that this is done by force.
Right.
You might get away with it if it was just with a with the flexi cuffs that he put her in, right?
Yeah.
But so let me just pretend that was BDSM. But no, he had a gun, yeah, and he was in a cop car. I don't think that was BDSM back in something that people were going around doing.
Gunpoint and raped her with the gun. A stranger to her, or close to a stranger to her.
One of the women, yeah, not the one that was convicted. I don't think that one came up with he raped her with a gun in that, unless there was secret evidence that was suppressed. But he did have her tied up. He did flash a gun at her, yes. He was convicted for that rape. But there were others that didn't gain a conviction in which the police detective has attested that he did rape them and put the gun into their vagina.
Yes, that because they were investigating a series of rapes where the MO was similar, and they had linked it to Earl David Worden, and they were attempting to convict to bring him to trial, but the prosecutor made a mistake and tried to bring all cases at once. The judge threw it out because obviously you can only do one at a time. You can't try one guy for like 17 rapes at the same time in the same case, right? You just can't do that. You have to treat it one situation at a time, right? Or like double jeopardy or something like to that effect. Yep. But again, just you can throw out everything that you know about Earl David Worden. Listen to what they're saying. the type of backwards thinking that they're going through just to justify why they had a guest that was controversial. You want to have Earl David Warden on your channel, by all means. It's a free country. You know, like, the internet is the way it is. As long as you're not breaking TOS for YouTube, do whatever the fuck you want, right? People are allowed to have opinions about it, especially when, you know, currently indicted for raping his own kids or touching his own kids. Kind of not the most honorable man, Steve. But besides that, remember what happened during the modern day debate. I didn't watch it. I was presented a clip of it. And then I listened to someone else explaining it, and then the whole clip was played where a certain individual decided that it was great optics, right? That this was such a presentable argument that I will bring on a sexual assault victim to excuse the convicted serial rapist.
Yep.
That is definitionally rape apologetics. You are doing exactly what is expected to subliminally get someone off the hook for a case of rape.
Yeah, it was absolutely horrible. It really was. It was so disgusting.
You bring one rape survivor that says that that's not rape apologetics, I'll bring 2. You bring 2, I'll bring 3. You bring 3, I'll bring 4. Yeah. That's essentially the tit for tat that these people wanted to play.
And they defended that. They thought that that was a great plan, and they were so offended that nobody wanted it to happen. Rob Lee was like horrified at the thought. Yeah, he was just blown away.
No, dumb bitch-itis. It is contagious. Guys, wear your masks, wash your hands, and stay 20 feet away from dumb fucking people on the internet. Skeptics, and I'm sorry to say this is an opinion that has borne out throughout the years. We've all been cringy skeptics, okay? We've all been there like, yeah, feminism is bad. Fucking, you know, there's no racism in the country anymore. We abolished, you know, civil rights are okay, people have mostly gone more woke. We have been more educated. We understand the differences in categorical errors that we've been making. We understand, generally speaking, my generation has become more progressive, especially with things like the BLM movement and the LGBTQ movement, right?
Yeah.
These people are stuck in debate bro skeptic culture. There is no way to permeate this thinking because they did not come to these conclusions rationally. They came to these conclusions through memes.
Yeah. Good job. This is great. This is really, I've watched this happen, and I was actually part of it. Yeah. So I'm really loving your commentary on this. This is brilliant. Brilliant.
There's a meme, there's a counter meme that I put in a Discord server that's very, like, you know, pretty nice. You know, everybody from all sorts of religious backgrounds are there just talking, having a chat. Do you guys remember the cringy fedora tipping, you know, neck beard, fucking anti-Gamergate type? And you think, man, how have we grown so far? If I can find that meme, I'd love for you to display it. I thought it was just perfect because this is what we used to think was so cool. Yeah, everybody's wearing a fedora. You know, being a militant atheist was like the coolest thing. Yeah, God doesn't exist. You're a fucking idiot for believing, you know, yeah, Sky Daddy. We've all grown up. You know what? There is no such thing as like an outrageous religious belief.
She's still using the Trigglypuff meme.
Yes, because she's stuck in dipshit mindset. There is no way to explain to somebody that if you decide that you want to be an advocate for sexual assault victims, or you want to put yourself out there as a sexual assault victim, unfortunately, this is just how it is. This is just public perception. Your opinion is then colored by that experience. When you talk as a sexual assault victim. You're not just talking as an individual. You're talking as part of like that community of survivors. When you say dumb, stupid, harmful, untrue, idiotic shit, other guys listen to you, and I don't mean guys, I mean, you know, men and women who don't care, who sincerely don't care. They just want to get one over because maybe their favorite YouTuber or their favorite Twitch streamer is in a lot of trouble for some controversial shit he's doing, like, I don't know, like maybe like pedophilia or you know, pedobaiting or MAP or whatever they want to do, and they want to have an argument to defend their guy. It's not because, hey, you know, this guy's behavior was atrocious, or maybe, yeah, we need to have more conversations about what consent is, because that's very difficult for high schoolers to define. I think about 60% were unable to accurately describe what sexual consent is, which is terrible considering like 98% of students can correctly identify what murder is. But we don't have...
it's good to
sexual
hear
education
you
about it.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's good to hear your voice because, like, I know you've been watching this all go down for the past 2 years plus now. So, I mean, your take on it overall is really brilliant. What are we gonna do? We're gonna keep laughing at these bitches. That's the only thing we can do.
But that's just it. You have to starve. Like, don't attack Cheshire for being Cheshire. Like, I've talked to quite a few people about this. Starve her. She's a dumb bitch. I'm really gonna say it. I'm sorry. The moment someone sent me that clip of her describing what the fuck critical thinking was, and she spat an incoherent fucking essay that wouldn't allow her to pass on the fucking SAT, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how to deal with someone like that.
No, we're gonna keep doing this because they're still fucking with people's real lives. Until they stop, we're gonna stop.
It's the same reason why some people
they're gonna stop.
Okay, G-Man, right? It's
Yeah,
the same
no,
reason.
You again. I'm not telling you guys what to do. Go for it. Yeah, go for it. Do what you got to do. But this, I'm explaining my reasoning because for someone like that who's so ill-educated and who is deliberately malicious, my opinion is they don't care if they're a sexual assault victim or not. I'm not even going to argue that. I believe them if they say that they are, but I believe them. But the fact that as they are identifying as part of that community, which again, unfortunately, the moment you say that that's what your label is. You're forever going to be that. There's never going to be a time where you could just talk candidly and not be labeled that way. You are then arming people to give really dumb takes that defend rapists instead of educating people on what it is consent is, what it means not to rape, and how we can make sure instances of rape go down.
Yep. She's actually, Rhetoric and Steve McRae actually taught their followers how to do rape apologetics. That's what they did.
Again, if anybody
while pretending to argue against it, it's just the most bizarre thing, and that's why we fight. 2012
skeptics is exactly where they're stuck at. They have not grown. They have not evolved. They've not been seeking understanding. They have not been seeking better arguments. They don't even care about the moral aspect of it, which I know, Spackle, that kind of tickles your jowls a little bit. They don't give a shit. You guys attacked Steve. They will say whatever the fuck they want to defend Steve. I don't care about Steve. I don't care about Cheshire. I don't care about Reds. I'm too busy. Nobody gives a shit. But the moment that I hear in my circles, in the debate communities that I'm still a part of, dumb shit idiots still arguing with the fucking, 2-cent Venn diagram that he did on MS Paint about fucking atheism, I'm not gonna lie. I get triggered. I get triggered in the sense that, like, I enjoy genuine conversations. The moment you bring me this dumb shit that is clearly done because you are not a philosopher, you're not educated, you barely have a high school degree, Steve. Fuck off. You told me back in the day that philosophy was useless and that it was mental masturbation. And now because you're not the science bro anymore, because Sam and Drag kicked your fucking ass to the curb after you lied to them several times and owned you publicly on things that were pretty, unfortunately, white belts in the field of biochemistry that you got wrong. You decided that mental masturbation and pretending to be smart was the thing to do. Even the people the blogs, by the way, that you are incorrectly regurgitating, by the way, you need to talk to those people. And you know who I'm talking to, the professor? Yeah, he has a fucking exception to the shit that you've been saying online and telling people to go to his blogs to read, because you've misrepresented a lot. And that individual does not wish to speak to you ever because of it. You have very few people in the philosophy circles that give a shit about you, and even fewer that would give you the time of day to open your email. Please stop messaging them. Nobody gives a fuck about you. You're a fucking joke. You want to do something on your channel that's drama baiting? That's the only thing you have left. Bitch, what the fuck does Katie Joy Paulson have anything to do with philosophy? What the fuck does makeup beauties on YouTube or Instagram has anything to do with philosophy? Pick a fucking lane. You want to be a drama channel because you saw Jules Tells All, you saw fucking Drag, you saw Black Guy TV, Miss Parker, all these people who are gaining subs, who are getting 600 live viewers.
Yeah.
That's fine. You want a slice of the pie. Do what you want to do. You fucking quasi-homeless. You got to make your money somehow. Shit, I want you to eat. I don't want you to starve on the streets, my guy. I know you're not paying child support.
I want him to starve on the street. So just
I'm not that big of an asshole. I'm not that big of an asshole.
I do.
It with the child support. This is how he's gonna say you attacked his daughter. That's how it happened to me. I said he was a shit dad. I said this is not what a providing dad does, Steve.
I don't care.
I attacked his daughter. This is where it starts.
Let me tell you something. My father, when he came, I'm gonna tell you the story. My father and my mother, when they came to this country, had no money, no language, nobody to help them. My older sister slept on a mattress on the floor while they slept on their jackets. My dad worked 2 or 3 jobs for years just to afford rent. And we lived in 4 people lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. We lived almost in bunk beds where I can touch my mother and father and my sister at any time. That's how tight we were living in the early years of my life. That's a dad. That's a dad who doesn't matter if he had to pick up laundry, doesn't matter if he had to be a part-time waiter, part-time at Burger King. His kids were going to be fed. His kids were going to get an education. He bought a house for us, for our family, so that we had somewhere to go no matter where in the world we ended up. We always had home base. He broke his back. My mom broke her back, making sure that we got a private education because they didn't think public school was adequate enough for their kids. They wanted a higher level of education. That's a dad. That's a mom. I'm sorry. I sincerely do not give a shit. You don't want to pay child support or you want to live the way that you do. You feel like that's up to you. That's fine. Don't then come to me and tell me that you're an amazing dad. You're like a meh dad, if that. Because I know what an amazing dad is. And there's no fucking level that you can compare it on. You just can't. I'm not impressed.
Nukes fired.
I'm sorry, dude. I really, after a while, like, Steve is old news. Steve wants to be a drama channel. That's fine. Bring Earl David Worden back on. Look at all this drama. We're talking about it right now. That's sure to bring you live viewers. You know, everybody wants to see the dumpster fire going. That's what NSS was. It was a continual dumpster fire. Do that, Steve. Go back. You know, go back to bringing controversial guests. You'll be the talk of the town. Not in a good way, but fuck it. It's not like you were from the start anyway. What reputation? Your reputation's already shit. Where else can it go? So you might as well, like, milk it. That's fine. Just do me a favor. Stop poisoning philosophical conversations with your bullshit. Your Venn diagram is a categorical error. Your argument makes no fucking sense. I talked to you about this like 5 or 6 years ago when you first heard me talk about my agnosticism and then tried to repeat my argument and failed. Do me a favor, please. Just fucking stick to the drama. You're so much better at drama. You'll have 600 live viewers in no time. I promise you. Stick it out, man.
You might actually be able to afford some stuff for your daughter. Do a drama channel, Steve. Good rant. Good rant.
Oh, don't make me. I will keep going. You guys move right on. You guys just... I am exhausted. I did a whole day at work. I went to the gym and exhausted myself more, and I need a fucking nap. So that's why I'm particularly talkative right now.
Yeah,
I'm
pretty tired too. It's always good to hear when a bitch finds her voice and uses it.
But you gotta use. Look, every bitch has a voice. It's a matter of what you're using your voice for. When does it matter? Right now?
No. Because they're going down. They're going down, but it does matter, actually. I think it does matter. It's going to piss them off. They are going to be so mad.
What is Red's going to do? You know how many times he's threatened me in my life? And I don't mean like threaten my life.
Tell us.
Wait.
No.
Just make sure that you want to say it.
I know it. I got it. He's never threatened my life.
It's a rhetorical question. Yeah. He's threatened you, though. Yeah.
He's made like vague. I don't give a fuck. I'm sorry, dude. Like, I know what he says about me in private. The few instances that he didn't catch the hush mouth because he's fucking scared for some reason. I don't know why. It's not like I fucking talked to the dude. That's okay. I don't care. Like, to me, my reputation online, I don't fucking care. I'm here for shits and giggles, and I'm here to meet people like you guys, have good conversation, and meaningful conversation. If there's folks that aren't interested in meaningful conversation, and they want to defend a rapist because they're fucking future self decided to make a dumb fucking decision, then that's up to them. But you aren't somebody that people should come to for honest discussion. You should go to other Discord. There's politics and religion server. There's blue politics server. There's regular politics server. There's so many places that are less toxic than what the fuck these guys are doing. Yeah.
ProLib has opened again. Yep.
Yeah. Go have a discussion. It's okay to disagree. But don't pull this stupid especially this black card shit. I'm sorry. Nobody knew Sweet Heathen was mixed for a while. If she mentioned it on some obscure channel.
I didn't know. You know what? I assumed she was white, to be honest. I didn't know. Maybe what's the word? Like, Italian, where you got the little bit of olive in it. That but basically white. Like, I didn't know.
No, I heard she was Latinx. I heard she was Arab. I heard that she was possibly from the Philippines. I heard that she was white. I only know her picture from her avatar that Nate showed me. I don't know. I've never seen. So if she's on camera, I've never seen her on camera. I have no idea. But just from her avatar, I have fucking no idea what race she is.
And I mentioned that she was passable because her experience as a passable black person, so somebody that is, half black, half white, like she's gonna have a different experience.
Yes,
outright.
And you can't explain that to people who are stuck in 2012 who want to deny that racism even still exists. They will deny it when it's convenient for them. And the moment you bring up, like, hey, Nate doesn't have a choice. He is very obviously black. Very black for a black person. Like, dark. And he's got dreads and, it's clearly very black, to say the least, right? He doesn't have the option of someone mistaking him for some other race. She's what's known as white passing. Now, I'm not going to go into the colorism thing because I think that's absolutely toxic, and people in POC communities shouldn't do that to each other. But if you are to say that the experience is equivalent to someone who is passing as a bunch of other races to someone who cannot pass, that's just not true. She may have been teased because of colorism, right? Like maybe she's got family members or people in her circles who are very black.
She has her own unique, set of circumstances.
Yeah, I'm sure she's been teased. I'm sure that there's been colorism thrown at her. But colorism is inter community racism, right? When you're talking about the wide world out there, you're not going to understand how your race affects you in the same way that a black person does. Because you're not going to have the same, just statistically, we're just talking about what we know sociologically. White passing people do not have the same level of aggression, violence, or at least bigotry that comes their way in the wider net in the United States. I only know the statistic in the United States. I can't say for Canada. I can't say for Europe. They're not going to have the same exact one-to-one experience. They're not going to get close to that because people are just going to assume that they're white unless they fill out a form. I'm African American. People wouldn't assume. But for someone like Nate, they don't have a choice. Their blackness is on display for everyone. So he's got to face prejudice head on.
Yeah, he knows.
Sweet Heathen doesn't have to.
He knows what they were doing.
Yeah,
he knows what Steve set it up. Sweet Heathen played into it. She got pwned by Nate. He gets to defend himself. I don't care. He gets to defend himself when you pull something like that. Yeah, I'm sort of addressing them. You know what I mean? It's just like, and now they're just going to keep doubling down and now they're saying that Nate is race baiting.
Of course he is, right. because he's black, and if he ever were to criticize somebody else's stereotypical black tropes against him, he's the one who's race baiting.
Well, again, I just want to say, the only time I hear that term ever is white folks that are maybe conservative, Republican, or libertarian, and they have that "Don't tread on me" flag. I'm white and I'm scared of everything, and they're the ones that are doing that.
Steve is white. Sweet Heathen might not be white. Steve is, and Steve's the one that set it up. Like we said, when Nate made a stream addressing this, all of us were saying, especially me, I was saying, Sweet, you should be blaming Steve, not Nate. Steve is the one who did this to you, and you agreed to participate in this smear on Nate. That's a shame for you. Go on, go away. or whatever, and we won't have to mention it. Your friends are the one that keeps bringing this shit up, and they won't stop.
That's his choice, though. You gotta understand, you are the company you keep. I really do believe that. I really do believe birds of a feather flock together. How many times have I said that to you, Spackle? And you've probably told me, internally in your head for me to shut the fuck up, right?
I always look at it as who you're bringing in close, right? Who's in your in group versus interaction. So I was in a stream with Will Kincaid and Brett Keane yesterday. That does not mean I endorse either one of those folks, right? But I was interacting because it was funny and lulzy, right? But it doesn't mean I'm endorsing Vaughn because I interacted with Vaughn. But obviously, who am I close with? What does that say? Yeah.
There's a difference between interacting. I'm still open to interacting with G-Man. I know everybody's gonna fuck. Oh my god! Ah! Look, I don't know. Maybe it's my extreme apathy because I'm just really concerned with other more important things in my life. That someone like G-Man, he's threatening to sue me over me telling everybody the UTI story. Okay, sue me. I don't, do what you got to do, buddy.
Wait. G-Man's threatening to sue you.
Yes.
Because he got the dick flu because he doesn't know how to clean his own penis.
Right, but
and we pointed out.
He's saying that I'm slandering him because I said that he got a UTI because his penis isn't clean. He says he has a UTI because he drinks too much soda.
That's not how that works, G-Man.
I'm not saying it makes sense. I'm just saying what I've been told. I didn't even know. Someone actually DM'd me day before yesterday. What is today? Friday, right? Yeah. Someone texted me on Wednesday that G-Man was saying shit like that. I'm like, okay, go for it. But if G-Man were to call me on my phone right now, Hannah, look, I need a break. Let's go watch a movie. Can we just hang? I just need to decompress. He's not going to say fuck. I'm going to say fuck. But, I just need to decompress. I want to have a fun day. Okay.
This is where you and I are different. I would say, G-Man, you're going to have to go figure that out for yourself.
I know that, and I respect that. But that's just who nothing about me in the past 3-4 years has changed much. Some things have, but for me, I just don't care about what someone talks shit about online. So if G-Man wants to talk shit, online and be different in person, okay. I can't control who they are. It doesn't mean that I have to give him a second thought. I can hang out with almost anybody, and I think I could try to have, salvage a good time out of it. But for people like Steve and the rest of them, this is the kind of people I would avoid, mainly because the only thing they have to talk about is this drama. Their whole lives revolve around this drama. At least with G-Man, the reason why I go see a movie with him is because he'll then want to talk about the movie for the next 5 hours. I'm okay with talking about Marvel lore for the next 5 hours, so long as we don't talk about YouTube drama.
It's true that you can get some of the folks like Veckel off the subject of politics. Gosh, he's awful at politics. And off the subject of atheists versus theists and religious, and you can talk comic books, and suddenly Veckel seems a little more human. It is true that it's possible that can happen. But
they're not my friends.
There's some people that I wouldn't break bread with just because. I wouldn't break bread with trash. Would I rather be in a room with Matt Bell than Chesh? No, I would rather be in the room with Chesh. Let's be rational human beings, right? But there's some people I don't want to break bread with.
You don't want to hang out with psychodramatists. That's not a word. But
the psycho people, I guess.
Psychodramaticists, yes. And I would include Reds, Chesh, and Steven in that group. Just people who just do this kind of stuff, try to twist this narrative, this storytelling thing of that this black man over here, because he pissed you off, is now race baiting you. I mean, that's just the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
The term race baiting was thrown around. I have a lot of conservative connections, and that term race baiting was thrown around quite a bit by a lot of very angry, miffed white people, middle class, who just felt so threatened by Obama being president. And they would call Obama a race baiter constantly.
But that's just it. Your existence sometimes as a black individual, especially statistically, black women get it really bad, is already implied threatening to people who have subtle bias, right? There is so many people, probably even us on the panel, we probably have a subtle prejudice that we aren't consciously aware of it. The point of things like BLM, the point of having these discussions in public and talking it out isn't because everybody's assuming you're a racist, you're a fucking Nazi or whatever, right? It's, hey, there might be an issue internally with my reasoning that I might not recognize. I need like people, especially people who experience this, to check me. And when they check me, does it match up with what we know is happening? Like, why do you think BLM has been successful in a lot of areas with certain types of police reform? Because the data, it's not just that Black people are complaining and whining and, they can't handle a little bit of roughness or some stupid idiotic shit like that, right? Statistically borne out in the data that police are treating them absolutely unfairly, and it's a violation of their civil rights. We know this. That's why not only do we take on board people's experiences, we search for evidence that either corroborates or, leads us to a different conclusion. Those things work in harmony. 2012 to 2014 dipshit debate bro skeptics think that if it doesn't bore out explicitly in the data, then it doesn't exist. Because they can't read data, they don't understand how it works, and because they think someone explains an experience that they've had in their lives, that therefore it's easily dismissed off the top. We don't do this. This is intersectional now. These conversations are multifaceted. We don't do this shit now. I don't care if they feel a certain type of way that civil rights or the BLM movement is terrible. Yeah, I'm not saying that they do. I'm saying if, right?
Hannah, you're always on a roll, and it's a great
go
role.
ahead.
It's a great role. I appreciate you coming in. I know that you've had a rough ride, and I know it's actually a big step for you to actually talk about this stuff. We have another secret guest coming in, guys. We not only have Hannibal, but also, guess what? We have Prolib.
No.
Yo!
Hi.
Hey, Pro, how you doing?
That leftist
Good.
guy.
It's just Ethan, though. Just Ethan.
Hey, listen, I wasn't sure if you wanted me to say it out loud or not.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm dropping the politics thing. But here's the thing. As a straight white male, I had to come in and offer my experience.
Wait. Are you a white ally?
I have no idea. But, my problem with all of this is, hi Jules. My problem with all of this is, I said this in the chat, but I want to reiterate this. They do not argue in good faith. They don't argue from a place where their opinions could ever be changed. They don't argue from a place where they could ever be wrong. They don't argue from a place where anything they say is able to be challenged in any kind of legitimate way. And that's not an argument. At that point, it's just a statement. It's just declarative statements, and declarative statements are fine, but that's not something that you can have a discussion about, except, hey, let's discuss for 2 hours how right I am. And like, okay, so let's talk about how right you are about everything. Well, that's fun.
I'm going to show you a definition of race baiting.
Oh, I would love to see a definition of
No, that's what Cheshire was doing. That's what we were discussing.
I know.
She showed everybody a definition of race baiting and then claimed that Nate was doing it.
Yeah. Nate and I talked about that the other night about inherent bias, and there is inherent bias. I have inherent bias. You have inherent bias. I think what separates people from us then from people like them is that we try to acknowledge our bias, understand it, and work forward from it.
Yes.
It's I do have inherent biases, and I have to acknowledge them in order to beat them. Right. In order to make sure that I'm not using them inadvertently or directly to harm people.
Yeah.
But that's not the conversations that we're having with these individuals. It's defense of themselves.
Right.
So they'll use whatever argument is convenient at the time. They'll be anti-SJW and then SJW, the next day or the next sentence. They don't care.
Yeah. Yes.
That is true.
They can't care because
that
the
happens all the
moment
time.
they care, they could be wrong.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and again, I'm not being prescriptive. Like, you guys shouldn't talk to them. I'm just saying, like, that's why I don't, because I can already have these conversations and change minds in other servers where people are legitimately regurgitating these arguments because they believe them, not because it's convenient as a defense for your fuck up.
Well, and Steve has shown that he doesn't grow, right? Like, he just stays static. He's been static for 5 years. This is the same person, except maybe more narcissistic and apparent in that way, but the same person as he was 5 years ago. He's never shifted positions.
Well, he can't. He can't grow. Because in order to grow, listen, the biggest educator in life is failure. And if you are unable or unwilling to admit and illustrate your failures, it's impossible to learn from them and it's impossible to grow from them. I bet if you asked Steve McRae what the best failure he had in his life, it was something that happened a long time ago. Like, I bet it would be 30 years ago or something. There's no way that he can say, oh, well, I messed up on the non-sex show. Because he did. He absolutely, let's think about the reason that Kyle, and I'm not trying to defend Kyle, but let's think about why Kyle was mad at him. He was mad at him because he kept saying horrible things on Twitter and pissing people off. And Kyle kept saying, dude, you have to sit out the show for a week because everyone fucking hates you right now and we have a business to protect. That kept happening repeatedly.
Yep. He was yelling at some guy on stream. I don't want your $50 Patreon every month. Yeah.
You're an idiot. Yeah.
I remember that part with the guy. And you felt sorry for the guy. He wasn't a horrible person or anything like that. Like, he was just being nasty. Because
there were people who liked that. They thought that was cool. Yeah. So that's who he was appealing to. People that think that this type of internet blood sports is fun.
Debate bros. Because people are stuck in that mentality. How do you think debate bros are actually a component of how the right wing took over YouTube for a while? Before TOS got updated.
Did. Yep, they did.
Yeah, Steven Crowder and Ben Shapiro.
The skeptic community morphed into the alt-right.
Yeah.
I mean, or at least they developed a pipeline to become alt-right.
Well, they were part of the same thing for a long time. They were. I mean, you had people like what's his face? What's Dick Hole's face?
You gotta be more specific, man. There's a lot of dickholes here, man.
There's a lot.
The dude that was,
Jordan Peterson?
No.
The kangaroo guy. That
no. The one that did the stream with Steve, and he was talking about.
Dave Silverman.
Dave Silverman.
Oh,
he was in the background for years. I loved Dave Silverman years ago.
They got taken in by it. They really did. They did.
Yeah, that's when being an atheist was like cool, like that was like the hip thing to be, and you were a fucking rebel for going against your folks or going against your religious upbringing. Atheists are the intellectually superior position. I remember those days.
Right. Yeah, and so it was always, what I'm saying is these guys were always there. And I had a conversation one time, a one-on-one conversation with a woman who's in the atheist community. I'm not going to say what her name is. She would probably say, "Oh yeah, it was me," but I'm not going to. She can do that herself. I'm not calling her.
Volunteer herself, yeah.
Sure. And she said, it was a good old boys network for a long time.
Yeah.
For a long time, back before we knew anything about Silverman, it was a good old boys network. This is nothing new. And all social media did was give them a different platform in order to spread their toxic viewpoints. I mean, look at how somebody like Ben Shapiro argues. It's the worst. He's got the worst arguments ever, but he's got a very authoritative way of making statements that are, or arguments, I guess, that are in bad faith. And because he does it authoritatively and because he says it quickly, because he gish gallops, it seems as though he's saying something very smart. And it seems as though he's winning an argument when he's not. He just says a bunch of shit really fast, moves the goalposts, and puts the argument in a totally different place to try and confuse the person that he's arguing, and more importantly, confuse the audience that's watching.
You know, the perfect example I could give you for alt-right pipeline? Atheism is unstoppable.
Yes, that's the guy, the kangaroo guy I was talking about.
Yeah. He's the guy who was like, well, obviously, if you just use your brain and the fucking magical brain maggots that you have crawling around in there, you can see, obviously, that black people are just fucking lower IQ or something, like, because they look at their black culture. Clearly, that's the reason why they're getting more arrested. Like, just use logic, bro. That's the exact type of arguments that we're still hearing. Granted,
do you know? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
No, please.
Oh, do you know who who made that argument very prominently in a letter? Thomas Jefferson.
Yes.
Thomas Jefferson wrote about how black people smelled, and that his theory was it was because black people how did he say it? Not exerted, but exhumed more fluids through their sweat glands than through their bladder. And that was his argument for why black people smelled.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you even look at Benjamin Franklin, he said some pretty racist shit.
Oh yeah.
And it wasn't even about black people exclusively. Like, because back then, swarthy was also a racially difference, right? So it didn't just mean white and black people. It meant like Germans, Spanish, there was a lot of groups that fell under swarthy that were also seen as lower class, filthy, idiotic, unintelligent. Yeah.
The Chinese Exclusion
Italians,
Act. Yep. The Chinese Exclusion Act was passed in 1898-ish. You'll have to look that up. But it was in the late 1800s. It was passed because all of these Chinese people were coming over and working on the railroads. And there weren't enough jobs for Americans, and Americans wanted these jobs until they started working the jobs and realized how dangerous they were, and then they didn't want them. And then the railroads were having trouble hiring people because the Chinese weren't allowed in, like literally Chinese people. I'm not being racist and saying all Asian people, literally people from China, weren't allowed in, and no one wanted to do the work because it was too dangerous. So this, we see it. Like
and when
the
when they unionized too, when they started unionizing for working in the factories, everybody was included but the Chinese.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So this thread that we're seeing illustrated today with people like McRae and Chesh, because if they want to think that they're not like these people, but they absolutely are, it's a thread that goes back a long way, and it's all connected. It's all the same thing. It's all the same argument. It's all from the same direction. And it's the same fight that our forebears fought. And, it's just our turn to take up the mantle.
But that's just it. They're not, there's no mantle to take up because at this point, what we're saying is like, hey, you're merely giving a point that you think is a valid retort to criticism. That's it. It's almost exclusively emotionally reactive to being criticized. At that point, I would rather debate a racist. And I mean like an out and out racist. Because at least they we're all playing on the same game here. We're not playing fucking the NFL. We're playing NBA. We play both sides of the court. We can say, look, you want to attack my non-racism? I can attack your racism, right? We could have a discussion about that. I sincerely cannot care about people who are going to say whatever comes to mind because someone hurt their feelings, because they did something stupid, and they can't articulate a proper justification. You know what would have been a proper justification for old David Warden? Listen, I understand that there are issues with his criminal history. We are having him on as an expert in police auditing. Please, we will have this kind of discussion at another time, or please refrain from bringing it up. Done. That's it. You know what? I acknowledge there's a problem. Yes, this guy, is a troubled individual, but I'm bringing him on for an express specific purpose, not to talk about the rape thing, not to even, trigger sexual assault victims that may be in the chat, merely to discuss the act of police auditing. Okay.
Or maybe, I've said this before a lot of times. I'd have had him on, but I wouldn't have ignored the
chat.
I wouldn't have ignored the chat, and I wouldn't have tried to defend him as some kind of person. I would have made it part of it. Hey, maybe your experience as an incarcerated individual made you want to pursue this? That would be interesting to talk about. And then we can have a whole conversation about how the fact that he got incarcerated and didn't like law enforcement, and that's why he pursued this. Like,
that's what I brought up in his chat. I tried to get my comments to show. They wouldn't show. That's what I was saying. I think he's just trying to fool you, Steve. He's probably got a grudge against law enforcement. That's relevant to the conversation, and these people are not trolls who are bringing this stuff up about his rape history.
Right. Look, he could be a serial killer. He could be a serial killer. But if the prominence of him being on that show was him as an expert in police auditing, then okay, that maybe there's people with a criminal past that have a particular, as Ethan put it, have a particular dislike for the police because of their interactions with them. That's valid. I don't like you. I think you're a piece of shit.
Sure.
I think he's acting out.
It's part of the narrative.
Yeah, he was probably not even incarcerated that long. I think it was 5 years.
And I think but it was the 80s, and
it was
things were different.
It was something like that. It was not long.
I mean, he didn't even acknowledge marital rape until like the 2000s, I think. So yeah, 80s rape standards were not adequate.
I was the exact same age as him. I'm the same age.
Oh, God.
Perlib, you had a thought, and then I was going to play a video real quick.
Oh, I was just going to say there was a whole argument on Reddit today. Our intellectual deep web. If you ever want to see some smooth brain people who think they're really smart, go to intellectual deep web. I was thinking about doing a stream on it actually about how the difference between consent and rape or non-consent and rape and how they're actually the same thing. Anyway.
All right, I'm going to play this video. It's been asked of me to play it, so I'm going to, I guess this was on Laura's channel real quick, and just to kind of give you a heads up.
I don't think that's going to be a worry. I just wonder, is it big enough?
It is big and girthy enough. I don't think the nuts are fat enough, though.
Oh, to be fair, we have no sense of scale there, so.
And I don't think it's long enough either, because this needs to tickle the back of his tonsil.
Exactly. I think it's the wrong skin tone.
The wrong skin tone. And by the way, why are they?
King does not approve.
Why are they only giving him one tub of Vaseline?
It needs a Bubba King tattoo.
It needs Bubba King approval, and he does not approve.
I could not believe that they actually sold 55-gallon drums.
Why is it not wrapped in barbed wire?
Who the hell needs 55 gallons of lube?
Don't kink shame me.
I don't judge. No. Jesus Christ, get out more. Get a hobby.
Why do you think?
I think that's all you need to play of that. I guess just enough.
I just don't care. I don't care if Kyle pays Steve or not. I really don't.
Yeah. Like just so you know, like they're making prison rape jokes and racist jokes.
And here's the thing: rape jokes are not funny. The reason that rape is a crime and you go to prison for it is because rape is bad. So you shouldn't wish that somebody goes to some place, incarcerated or not, and gets raped. That's not funny. It's not funny. Rape is not funny. It's not funny for people to get raped. The end.
Yeah. Well, we really have to spell this out for these fuckers.
This is what happens when not funny people think they're being funny. That's what you get.
They're really, really happy. They love thinking about Kyle in prison for a YouTube channel. This is the level of people we're talking about. They think they're important. They think that they're scaring people like Nate with their little, their insinuation that he could be investigated for associating with Kyle or some such shit. It's just like, and look what they're doing. I mean, they're so transparent to most rational, empathetic people. Yeah.
That video goes on and on and on, but that was about as much as I wanted to handle.
Yeah, that's more. And
we lost Hannah. We lost Hannah.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
sorry about that.
Okay.
But I was asked to show that, and I was like, this is actually relevant to what we're talking about.
It is, and Lauren, you're exactly right. Yes, that's rape. That's rape culture. When you can't ever legitimize it ever. No part of it. You can't. Because that's how these fuckers get their little tendrils in it to make other things okay. And you can't ever, Lauren, you're absolutely correct. Like, you cannot ever, it's never okay. It's never okay for somebody to be sexually harassed, sexually assaulted, raped, however, whatever word you want to put to it. It's always bad. It's always wrong. And, you know, when I grew up in the 90s, there was a lot of it in media. There's a video I'm making right now for a new series I'm starting about Star Trek, and there were a lot of really cringy sex jokes on Star Trek. Anyway, when I watched as a kid, of course I laughed because that was the stuff I saw everywhere. I mean, you had in Revenge of the Nerds, you have a woman getting raped. The hero rapes a woman in Revenge of the Nerds. And it was one of the biggest comedies in the 80s. It was hilarious. Everybody saw it. Yeah.
Wow.
The hero dresses up as he's got a crush on this girl, and he has a costume on. They're at a costume party, and she thinks she's having sex with her boyfriend, but she's actually having sex with the protagonist.
Oh, okay.
Just a scene that happens in the movie.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, that's true, hon. That's true, hon. You know, it permeated our culture. And what we've learned is we're now to a point in our society, thank God, we're like, you know what? Actually, that wasn't funny, and we shouldn't have been laughing at that. And we can't continue doing it because it wasn't okay then. We accepted it as okay, but that didn't mean that it was okay. We accepted slavery as okay one time. It wasn't okay then either.
But are you suggesting that we progress and grow?
That's the suggestion. I know it's a crazy one. I'm insane. How dare I say that we should be better than those who came before us?
Gosh, man.
Didn't bother me, Hillary. When I saw it as a kid, I was, he's tricking her. I mean, I'm as guilty as anyone else. I admit it. I didn't have some, prescient thoughts at the time. I wish I had, but I didn't. Yep.
Yeah.
And I didn't see it that way until somebody else pointed out to me. I was like, oh yeah, wow, that's awful. How could I have ever thought that was funny? But I did. But it's also proof that people can grow. Yeah, Dirty Dancing. Yeah, Road User. That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. But we laughed at it,
Oh, Puff Wiggly. Oh, we got a Pokemon in chat. Everybody wave at the Pokemon. Pokemon, you're not going to get hammered. Just so you know, Pokemon, you can share your opinions. If Steve is a RA, which is an apologist of what, then you are a fraud apologist, elbow cough.
What does that even mean? Fraud apologist for what?
Well, I think I know. So some folks, I don't know who, decided it would be funny to do a fundraiser for Kyle. I think Kyle headed it up actually. And some folks under Socks donated to Kyle. I was not one of those folks that donated to Kyle. There's that. Second, the money was used actually to retain a lawyer, which he did. The ethics of him losing the lawyer and stuff like that is a separate thing. But he did retain a lawyer, did he not?
Why should Kyle be allowed to have a lawyer?
I know, right?
That's outlandish,
justice, right? I don't know. I mean, Steve's whole goal was that he went to jail, right? Like that's what justice is, right?
Yeah, I don't understand fraud apologist. I don't get it. I don't. I'm trying.
Maybe we were apologizing for a fraud, but Steve is a rape apologist, and so is Cheshire. I mean, so are you. So is
well, that's their
Red's
big
rhetoric.
clap back to the Ilya Moon nonsense and the Sean nonsense. Is
That's
now
okay.
They're like, what about Kyle's fundraiser?
I mean,
I'll be a Kyle apologist, and you can be a rape apologist. I don't know.
I mean, I used to do a show with Kyle. It was called Discuss on my channel. It's not up anymore, but I used to do a weekly show with Kyle, and I think Kyle is in the wrong, and Kyle needs to answer for his consequences. So I'm not apologizing for anything. Kyle Kyle messed up, and he needs to answer for it.
I just want to pat Puff on the head. No,
Yeah.
he's just a little squishy.
Sure.
It's okay though that to teach as many
Might wanna
people
hose
as
him down first.
apology that rape is a funny subject, and you should twist and distort the argument and pretend that nothing wrong happened.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Han here. I'd much rather be a fraud in exile too. I'd rather be a fraud apologist.
Well,
I would.
I still stand by that. I think Kyle did most of the work of the channel. Sorry,
yeah.
but Steve is a lazy person, and as somebody that has been his mod, I can confirm he is lazy. He's entitled. He wants you to do the work, and he wants to reap the benefits. So maybe Kyle got sick of that, you know. So Kyle took back his own channel. If you ask me, I view it as his channel more than ever. It was Bull. Sorry, Bull. R.I.P. You're just a button pusher. Sorry.
I mean, didn't Kyle offer? He did, because he's talked about this. Kyle offered Steve. He was like, "I'll give you a couple of nights where you can do whatever you want, and I'll have a couple of nights where I do whatever I want. And then we have our shows that we do together." And Steve just was like, "No." I mean, he had every chance to do it.
Yeah, it's just weird. So like, yeah, I think it's a little more nuanced than that. Nobody thinks Kyle's a good person. Well, actually, I don't know. Maybe somebody somewhere does, but that was not me. That was not my position.
I'm just curious why Trigglypuff over there is coming in to defend rape apologetics. Because even Steve used to call out rape apologetics. Remember? Yeah, everybody's guilty of being a rape apologist if you're Catholic. That was his
I remember
argument.
That.
Yeah, and suddenly he was apologizing for a rapist, which was really strange. And Fiona Robertson pwned him in a video, and she also educated her audience. So I don't understand Trigglypuff.
Real quick, let me address what Laura's saying. Laura, all those GDC videos are back up. They're back up on my channel, and they're going to stay up. So you don't need to worry about it. Yeah,
I was glad to.
And I need to finish the series too, but there's 2 more interviews I need to do. So
cool.
I just want to point out that, you know, the priest thing and stuff like that, and you mentioned that, and then Fiona's video and stuff. I have to point out once again and highlight it because the people in the back on Steve's camp don't seem to understand that an incident of a rape apology does not mean that you're continually a rape apologist. That doesn't necessarily mean that's the case.
Sure.
And that was highlighted from the start. Just like an incident of a racist joke does not mean that you're always racist. But if there's a pattern of racist jokes, then we can maybe start to pick up something, right?
The only pattern that Fiona was aware of at the time was that Steve would say things that they weren't actually true. So she pointed that out, and at the end of her video, she said, look, when Steve makes claims like this, ask to see evidence. Do not just believe him without evidence. That is why they got so angry, because that happens to be true. So
again, Puff doesn't understand like apology versus the actual act. Okay, here we go. Is this Red Rhetoric?
Show the comment. It said, if Steve is a rape apologist, then you are fraud apologists. But I'm sorry, we didn't go to extreme lengths to misrepresent things like Steve did. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's just not a.
Yeah, it's weird.
You can't really compare the two. But I'm wondering.
Well, you can.
Well, you can, but I don't think the comparison is correct or valid in this situation. If Steve is a rape apologist, well, clearly he is at this point because he's been defending Earl David Warden, who's a rapist, for 2 years straight, until finally, like, I think Mark, the Guardians, when the Guardians showed up, he started, like, backtracking big time. He started pretending that he'd never said what he said, which is dishonest. And it's kind of the thing that Fiona was originally trying to warn people about. Make sure you see receipts. Yeah. Make sure you have evidence. Because this is the great debate community. And Steve headed up the great debate community. And it used to be all about facts and evidence. And now it's not. Because Steve's the face of it. Sorry to have to put it to you that way, but that's a fact. That's the fact of my opinion. Let's put it that way.
There you go. I'll go with that.
Thanks.
I don't know if you guys saw it earlier, but I am starting a GoFundMe. We're going to do some testing.
Yeah. Oh gosh, everybody's terrified of GoFundMes.
Right. I'm starting a GoFundMe. We're going to test whether or not chocolate is good for dogs. So please go to GoFundMe /give me money.
Fraud apologism.
Yeah, actually, you know what? We're just going to do it for fraud. We're going to stop fraud apologism. You can go to GoFundMe /stop fraud apologies. Stop apologizing for fraud.html.net.
Scientist Sam. That's funny.
I know. I'm so
Scientist Sam. Basically, we're going with their new narrative. The new narrative is anybody who's ever associated with with Kyle Curtis, who has ever been kind to Kyle Curtis. Yeah, anybody. You're all targets now. That's their new narrative. That's why they came over here to say it like that.
And they painted targets on her particular hate group. So we kind of know that Chess particularly has a hate boner for Shannon Q because she kept mentioning Shannon Q and kept bringing it back to Shannon Q. She kept mentioning Paulologia. She kept bringing it back to Paulologia. So people that her betters, once again, throw back to Bill Ludlow.
Talk about punching up the mountain.
She's punching up the mountain once again. This is what she does.
Later, Pugly, Triggly, Puff, whatever.
Thanks for playing. That being said, we've been gone on for a long time. Is there anything that anybody wants to say with final words?
Chocolate is bad for dogs. Do not
listen.
Feed them
we haven't
chocolate.
done the test yet. Okay, so
if they start running,
GoFundMe.
Okay. Well, which dog are you going to use?
I will actually be playing the part of the dog, so I'll be the one eating the chocolate.
All right, cool. That's fine. That's fine.
So,
Okay, we'll make sure that when you eat the chocolate, you start running around and acting all like frantic and excited.
Wait, hold on. I got to write this down. Hold on.
That's what Shesh described that her dog did. Yeah.
Okay.
Run around acting all excited and,
Got it.
Frenetic. So then that's what the dog did. There's actually probably a scientific explanation as to why the dog was behaving that way. I've heard others make that argument. Scientist Sam might be able to help us with that.
Probably. I know that I wouldn't. I'm definitely not smart enough. But I don't know. It's good to be back.
Good thing it didn't kill the dog, though.
I missed all you. I missed all you crazy people.
No, it's good to see you.
You've been missed as well.
Well, thank you.
I'm glad that Hannah popped in. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
Damn.
And yeah. Well, I think she has a lot to say about the culture thing, which is a mouthful, and I think she's put a lot of thought in it. And
yeah, because
I appreciate that.
Hannah's been dealing with ideas and not people. Yeah, she's got a good, nice, smart head on her shoulders there to do that. So, she's been processing the overall community, and she had a really good take on it because I've been watching the same thing, and I think she's spot on with the atheist skeptic community and these people that came on pretending to be skeptics when they were just critics.
Yep.
Yeah, they didn't know the difference.
Or cynics.
Cynics, more like it. Yeah.
Yeah, being cynical is not the same as being skeptical.
Yeah.
Skeptical means show me evidence. Cynical is just like, I don't believe you. Big difference.
Yep. All right. Well, I am going to play us out, I suppose. We appreciate everybody that showed up on the stream, and I appreciate everybody in chat. Thank you so much. If you get to hit a like button, that helps. I'm doing it for free. There's no super shots going on right now. There's nothing. Like, it's just
It's old school.
The old school. I'm not cash apping this bitch. This is here just to have people have a word in.
So go to GoFundMe /donate to Ethan.net/HTML5.
Ethan is going to be the dog. Give this dog some chocolate.
And donate to my chocolate fund.
It's cute.
That's so funny. Okay, so I guess we'll go on call it now. You guys have a good day.
Later, Gators.
Later.